Hey, good evening, everybody. Welcome. The 147th episode of the CAF Update. Man, this thing's annoying, isn't it? Well, it's a fine night here in Central Florida. I hope everybody's had a great day today, and we're here all together to sharing the joys of the hobby here on this Thursday evening. If you're new to the show, and I imagine every once in a while somebody has to stumble into this thing and wonder what the heck we're talking about. It's all about comic art on this channel. It's a lot of fun. If you don't know anything about comic art, you should check out comicartfans.com, where all these other cool people are hanging out all the time. So, yes, anyway, and subscribe to our channel. There you go. There's my sales pitch. I'm not good at these things. We should work on that. I'll talk with Maureen. She can give me a good sales pitch. Look, it's Jason D'Ambrosia in the chat. As many, well, as Alberto pointed out, I misspelled Jason's name on the little graphic I put in today's mailing today. I ended his last name with an A instead of an O, but I promise not to not to do that again, Jason. I'm sorry. It happens. Bring out the ambrosia. Yes. I think I've got some wine. I think I've got some ambrosia in the other room. Maybe we'll save that for later. Anyway, yes, I hope everybody's doing well. I've had a couple of days off up until last night, and I'm well rested and ready to take on the world. And we've got got a lot of stuff going on in the show tonight. I'll have Aranga and Tatiana on shortly. We'll be talking about Como and showing off some video that Aranga shot. I've got Jason coming on for a super special art drop from him. He's just showing off a new piece of art that he's had at his collection that he was so impressed by that he wanted to show everybody live before he puts it in his calf. But we're going to talk about Comic Art Live one last time. Maybe not the last time, but because I don't have all the data I wanted from Maureen. But we can talk about some stuff that I saw on. Well, I've got a few things to talk about. One thing was that I saw there was some discussion out there about people were wondering about prices and whether or not the volume of artwork was oddly oriented. There was that discussion in the sketch group about purchases under $500 and all that kind of stuff. And probably a lot of you didn't see that, but somebody was trying to make a point that the majority of the artwork that sold on Comic Art Live was under $500. It's like 60% of it. And of the 710 sales, like 400 pieces or something like that were at that rate. But at the end of the day, I mean, most people are buying pages under $500. I was able to point out to the gentleman that if you look at all of the art sales on eBay, the closest marketplace that you can compare to Comic Art Live, all of May, 85% of the artwork that's sold on eBay is under $500. So that's just how it is. I mean, it's that way anywhere. Right. So I don't have all the data in front of me, but I wish I could have all of the breakdown on the price ranges and stuff. But yeah, by and large, that was kind of where things were at. We are at $1.1 million in overall sales. 800,000 of that was from collectors. So we always know that the show is very much a collector focused show. That's why I compared it to eBay for that guy on Facebook when we were chatting. I'm not watching everything over there. What did you say? The piece I bought is still not marked sold, and it was over $500. Yes, exactly. Well, I don't think he was a hater. I just think he was trying to make he was either trying to make the point that people who bring art to Comic Art Live it's so overpriced that the only things worth buying are under $500, or that's just the way the hobby's going. Like, art's so expensive, all people can afford are pages under $500. He wouldn't state either of those things, but it was one of those things he was trying to get at, but he wouldn't say what it was. But at the end of the day, I mean, if you look at eBay and compare it to that, if the ratio is only 60% of sales at $500 and under, that's actually pretty good. Like I told him before I even looked at that, you would just generally think that artwork priced $500 or less would dominate all the other categories, because how many people out there are spending over $5,000 per page? I mean, we see it happen all the time, but in the grand scheme of all the collectors that are out there, I mean, I think I've only made 2 purchases in my life over $5,000, and one of them was last weekend. So it just doesn't happen. So and Tariq mentioned that he bought plenty over 500. I know Alberto's were over 500, 2 of 4s. That's the whole, that's the bottom line. I mean, there were 400 sales over $500, and it's just kind of how it goes. But yeah, looking at the data that Maureen gave me, it's just not really what I was hoping to get. But as far as the sales go, like I said, collectors were 800,000 of that. Dealers were pretty close to the other 300,000. Artists didn't bring a lot this time around. They only amounted to 14,500 of the sales. So, not out of the norm, right? That is kind of how things usually go with regards to the sales. But, we're still seeing sales trickle in, and a few other people deleting their stuff out of there now that the show's over. A lot of people, when they move their stuff back to their CAF gallery, they just delete it. So, it's okay. What else we got on there? So, but a couple other points though. So to me, I was really happy. Trust me, going into the show, and you start thinking about the economy. We saw Heritage Signatures last auction go down substantially. It felt like that maybe we were going to see a show where we didn't even reach $1 million. And on Saturday evening, I was starting to feel that too, because I think around midnight, we were still only at about $430,000 in sales. So I was getting scared. But of course, everybody waited until after the art drop on Sunday to pull the trigger and wrap up other deals. So, so at the end of the day, I'm pretty happy with where things ended up. I think we're still going to end up being in line with where things were at for the November show, so I'm fine. As long as we're not seeing a downturn, we're all good. Couple points. I think that, we had the conversation at the end of the show, as far as like what people wanted to see done to Comic Art Live to make it better. We really didn't have a whole lot of things suggested. The main thing I think that came out of that was people really would like to have an on-hold status for their artwork as a booth owner, but also for you who are browsing to know that the owner of the artwork is in a negotiation to make a sale. And it's not sold yet, of course, but being able to see that it's on hold means that, you can still send them an email with a purchase request, but at least you're doing it knowing that you may not have a chance at the artwork. So as long as the exhibitor is kind of following, that new tool, it would actually be of benefit to you. And I think it would be of benefit to the sellers as well. So Larry says, what % of sales were below 1,000? I don't know. I don't have that data, but if 60% was 500 or less, it's probably safe to say that 72.5% was under 1,000. I don't know. I'm taking a wild guess there, but sellers to get, okay. People are asking about feedback. We're going to talk about feedback too, because that is an interesting topic from an email I got after the show. So at any rate, adding an on-hold feature I think is good, and I haven't talked to Maureen about it yet, but it's a no-brainer that we would add it. The thing that we would probably end up doing is changing the site search or the Comic Art Live search to allow you to, like, if you're going to search for things that are, I don't want to have like 3 different drop menus where you're searching for stuff that's for sale, on hold, or sold. I would say that if you're going to, it should probably be just for sale and on hold, so that those pieces are still available, to a certain extent, and then searching on sold only for those of you who like to follow how all things are going. Jeffrey, you sold a lot of artwork over the weekend, I think. I'm not looking at the stats right now, but I think you did pretty decently. Probably could have sold a few of my other pages for more, but I felt they didn't have anything on them. Yes, Jeffrey. Well, those things happen, man. They always do. But so feedback has already been mentioned. So one thing, obviously we've talked about feedback. Sellers have to leave feedback first, and then the buyer can leave feedback. I was talking with Jason before the show, and he said that when he looked at his list to leave feedback as a seller to his buyers, of the 5 pieces I think he sold, he could only leave feedback for 1 person, but he had gotten emails from 3 of the other ones. Now, if everybody remembers in the chat, Jason had actually said that 2 of his buyers were new to CAF, didn't even know what the hell CAF was. So that means they weren't logged in. And that is a problem, because when people are, we allow the whole site to be open to anyone. For Comic Art Live. I mean, collector to collector through CAF, if we force people to be registered, but when they're in there for Comic Art Live, we've always had the rule that you don't have to be logged into CAF. And the problem then is, if somebody contacts you to buy a piece of artwork through CAF, through Comic Art Live, and you and they're not logged in, you can't leave feedback for them because they don't have an account to leave feedback for. So it kind of sucks. So Maureen and I might want to take a look at that. Maybe we can encourage people when they're about to send an email to kind of say, maybe you might want to log in first. Or if you're not, we'd encourage you to become a member of the site. And then if they really just say, screw it, I don't want to, they can just be like, I'm going to send them an email as a guest or whatever. But at least we try to encourage them to sign in or register before they make those points of contact, because feedback is something that I really want the site to start relying more on to build trust within, in the community. So that guys like Jason, when people say, I don't know who the hell this guy is, they can actually go and look and see, oh, he's got feedback from 10 other collectors on the site that have been on the site for X number of years. Maybe he is actually trustworthy and I can buy a piece of art from him. So there's that. The other thing was I actually got an email from somebody Tuesday who got feedback as a buyer, and they said that they did not want they don't want people to know what they're buying. So, stop that. Because you remember, I can show you what feedback looks like. Here, I'll just go quick over here to this. Take a look at what mine looks like. Let's see down here. And yeah, really 22 I got a lot of test data in here. So I don't have 22 feedback. But as you know, or as you can see, and here, it actually lists like what the item is. Yeah, it doesn't show a picture of it, but it has the avatar of the person who left you feedback. Shows the date, whether right now only from a Comic Art Live shows. So this one just says spring 2023, what the date and time it was left and who it was left by. Yeah, we're best buds, blah, blah, blah. But the person who contacted me said, man, I don't want nobody to know what I want. How do you remove this feedback? So, I thought about it, and and maybe this could be a good roundtable. I see Aranga and Tatiana in the green room, but I'll just keep it to where I'm at with my thought process on this. Because the thing is, I don't want people to delete feedback. What if you have somebody who's not a good buyer, right? Or if they're they shouldn't be allowed to say, I'm opting out of feedback, so nobody can ever leave me feedback. That's not a place I don't think that we want to be. So, looking at the gentleman's email, his only concern was he doesn't want people to know what he bought. Now you thought, I'm thinking, oh my God, he probably bought some risque piece of art. He doesn't want people to know. No, he bought some, Marvel art, that was really, average priced. But for whatever reason, his bent is he doesn't want people to know what it was he bought. So my feeling would be, right, I know I can't make everybody happy, but the thing is, since we're moving towards a feedback system, that at the end of the day, I can't allow him to delete it. Clearly, in this current system, he looks at it, he probably won't leave the seller any feedback either, because it will, in the seller's feedback will list the piece that was the feedback was left for and from him. So the only thing I can come up with is allowing a person to hide the item, what it is, the title of the piece, even the price if they want, because I don't think we show the price, but on his, for whatever reason, I think the seller actually put the price in the title, which made it look a little weird. And maybe that might have scared him too, because not only was the title there, but the price was listed with it. So that might have bothered him to a certain degree. He didn't mention that, of course. He just said he didn't want people to know. But in theory, you could go ahead and just say, I don't want people to know the items that I bought. And so for feedback, then it would just hide the item title from that feedback. Because then at the end of the day, at least he can get feedback and show it. Because the only other option, again, it's back to all the other options don't work. Make it so you can't show feedback on my profile, right? So what if this guy has 10 neutral feedbacks and he just decides, I'm not going to let people see what my feedback is. So he just hides it from his profile. We can't have that. So the feedback has to stay. The only solution is to hide the item. So Cosma says if his future employer knew he bought MODOK art, he'd probably be fired. More than likely, Cosra. And it's so at the end of the day, that's about the only thing I got. I talked with Maureen about it, and she said it would be easy to do. The downside to that would be that in this case, so you would check the feedback out for this buyer. The title for the artwork bought would be, it'd just be gone, X'd out, hidden. We'd probably put something else in its place. But then conversely, then for the seller, if the buyer actually has the nerve then to leave feedback for the seller, which they should, then the item would probably have to say, a text out there too. Even though the guy was the seller, I can't show it who it was from or what it was because the buyer of it wanted opted out. So I don't know. So anyway, that's kind of where that. You think eBay has done that, Jeffrey? Which one? I've been throwing so many things out there, but at any rate, if anybody has any further thoughts on that, they can certainly send me an email. And but right now, that's kind of what I'm thinking. Anthony says eBay feedback is all about the item bought and sold. Period. Can't. I think he meant say can't reinvent the wheel. Well, of course, that's the whole idea. That's why I figure if it's good enough for eBay, it's good enough for me. Except I don't allow people to leave negative feedback. Like I tell every seller, it's like, if you're going to leave negative feedback for somebody, talk to me first. Let's fix the problem. And then you don't have to leave negative feedback. Same thing for buyers as well. But like, so David mentions an anonymous item purchase option. Well, it's just more like everything I buy is going to be shown as anonymous, unknown. But at least then you can get feedback as a buyer and you can leave feedback to a seller and not feel like that's a problem. But but now that I'm looking at it, I think the guy's issue was more that the price was on there. The way the seller listed the item, putting the price in the title is kind of dumb. So that is more than likely what he didn't like. He just didn't want to say it. And I don't think he's in the chat either. I don't know if he's ever been in one of our chats. So anyway, so that was all the stuff I want to talk about Comic Art Live. I mean, I want to talk about some more stats and everything, but I think Maureen and I just don't have it all pulled together yet. As far as, she sent me an email like right before the show, and there's just nothing truly useful or unique out of the data as I've gotten it. I wanted to give you the top 10 liked or saved items from the show. We didn't get to do that. So maybe we'll do this next, next Thursday to open the show. Putting the price. Okay. I agree. Well, that's definitely what happened, Murdoch. So, but I guess, I could show you a couple things just real quick. As we all know, the site did not work properly at the beginning of the show. It was ugly. And there were so many different things that went wrong that it was really hard to kind of pinpoint where the actual problems were. But as soon as the show was over, we were like, we're gonna figure out all the problems with the search page, the exhibitor page, all of that. So Maureen spent a couple days looking at stuff, and we actually found the problem. It was like a compounding problem over numerous shows. But bottom line is everybody remembers what the site search, how it loaded all weekend, right? Because it was pretty much all weekend it loaded terrible. And now when I click on the link, boom, look at that. It loads immediately. So, and this is loading everything that is available for sale, ordered by highest price. And it's fast as lightning. Whereas all weekend, it loaded in about 6 or 8 seconds regularly. I laugh, but I shouldn't. If you put a keyword in there, everything was fine. But if you were trying to just look at things by price or maybe ordering them in different ways from here without a keyword in there, it was debilitating. So that's been fixed. We know what was wrong, even to a greater degree now than before the show. So everything is definitely a lot happier than it was. The exhibitor page is still a little slow. I just clicked on that. It's still going to probably take 4 or 5 seconds to load that. And that one is one that we're going to actually be dissecting and making some changes to. There's because you see that was at least a 7 or 8 count to do the whole thing. It's there's just a lot of database queries going on this thing, and every year it's gotten a little slower. And now that we have 6,500 pieces of art, 320 plus exhibitors, they're pulling 3 random pieces out of their stuff. End of day, there's there's things that we can do to improve that. So those were the 2 big bottlenecks, and because of those, it just kind of slowed down the whole experience at the start of each drop that happened. So we definitely won't happen again. And this page in particular is the one that we're focused on now, and we're going to try to do a few enhancements there to speed it up. So there you have it. So that was my week. One last thing from Anthony. What is he talking about here? Seller not being able to leave negative feedback changed eBay forever, and it's cost me thousands and thousands. Sorry to hear that, Anthony. It is what it is, right? Let's see. I demand a refund for my CAF premium members. Yes, that was tough. Anyway, no class action lawsuit, Kazra. I'd be out of business in a hurry. So anyway, where are we at? We're going to talk about Como now. I've got Aranga and Tatiana in the green room, and I thought about showing the video first, but I'll just bring them both in here now, and we'll just kind of get to chatting right away. Hey, how are we, two old friends, doing?
What's up, Bill? Hey, Tatiana.
Am I like impossible to see? I'm like the elusive.
Are you still in witness protection?
I was just gonna say it looks like witness protection. If only there was a voice modulation thing going on.
I might need to move. Yeah, the window's right behind me. Sorry.
Is it snowing?
No, we had a lot of rain and hail and stuff today, but no, we haven't had snow in a few weeks actually.
Well, that's good. Well, welcome to the show. We've when did you get back in, Tatiana and Aranga? I guess I tried following you guys on socials, but did you get back right away after Como, or were you there for a few days after?
I left Monday morning.
Yeah.
Sunday was the last day of the show when I flew out Monday.
Yeah, I flew out Wednesday.
So you got a few extra days in there.
Yeah, and then I got a cold, so that was not fun. So I was sick on the plane. At least I wasn't sick in Como.
Well, that's right.
Great. I did hear from a friend at Como that they came back with COVID. So just
no, I did not come back with COVID. I just had a cold.
So, but they might not have gotten it there. They actually stayed a few days extra in Italy, so you never know. But I heard that yesterday from them when they got back. So listen, I mean, tell me about the show. I mean, last week I got to show, what was it, a video from Robert Berman, and that was pretty nice. Most of it was photographs, though. So he had walked around and I don't think he took photographs of every booth, and a lot of them were close-ups. So like if somebody was holding a piece of art of his or that kind of thing. He had a few videos in there too, but so that was good. But I know that, Aranga, you shot a lot of video, but we've got a buyer and a seller. So why don't we start with you, Aranga? How was it?
I mean, this is my second year attending, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I've told quite a few. I picked up some art here or there. I mean, I could count on one hand how many folios I flipped through, to be honest with you. Hangovers, it's a hell of a thing. But no, I mean, it's just as fun as I remembered it last year. For me, a lot of it had to do with the relationships that I kind of made the year before with other collectors, with some of the artists, et cetera, et cetera. So, I mean, as soon as that show was over last year, I was like, yeah, I'm coming back next year. And that's a lot of what this was for me. So, I mean, it's not like I didn't pick up any art. I set up some commissions.
Before the show?
Before the show. So anyone that was taking a pre-list, guys like Gary Frank, who was like really like one of my white whales. So I was happy to get something from him, and I set up some from Tatiana's crew and a couple of other things. And yeah, I had a lot of fun. One of the differences was the weather was a little compared to last year. But it balanced out. We got a lot of sun along with the rain. It was great, man. I mean, I don't know. It was definitely larger in terms of the amount of artists that were there. Tatiana could probably answer that better. I think it's almost double this year. So yeah, it was mostly walking the con, kind of chatting with artists, looking at what they're doing. There's a real sense of intimacy at this thing when compared to a lot of the US cons. I mean, they've got chairs on the other side of the table. You can kind of sit down, take a load off, and just chat with the artist, for better or for worse, from the artist's perspective. But yeah, it's just a different feel. I'm not gonna tell any stories, Jay. But yeah, I'd love to hear Tatiana's take.
Just to answer chat questions, there are no cosplayers at Como. And if you want stories, you have to go for yourself
next year
and make your own stories.
That's true. I know. Well, my problem is it's the week. Remember, Como used to be in April, so I put Comic Art Live where I did in May, and then they moved it to May, right the week before my show. It's just hard for me to do it. And I'll tell you, I've got the only other thing. The other thing working against me is Maureen actually has no interest in going. So it's like, and not to Como, to Italy. She just doesn't want to go there. I'm like, so it's like, all right, this is a, you know, it'd be a guy's trip only, you know, solo, and Comic Car Live's the weekend after. So it's problematic at the moment for me to kind of work it out in my head. How can I do it and not screw myself? I'd have to go the week before if I want to do any vacation time, because I'd have to leave by, you know, the Monday like Aranga did. That's the only hang up I have at the moment. I'd love to go, of course. I mean, all the European collectors that I've never gotten to meet. I mean, that's to me, that'd be the most important part of going to that show. You know, the artists, you know, the ones that I'm most familiar with, I can see them here. You know, if I really wanted to, but yeah. Anyway, it's on me to make it out there sometime soon.
Yeah, it's just a unique show. I mean, there's nothing else like it. This was the first year I set up to sell. So every other year I've just helped with the show. And yeah, Aranga, the guest list was more than double last year. So last year was 50 and this year was over 100. So from the sales perspective, that was not great. But it didn't matter. I mean, all my artists just had such an amazing time. Everybody loved being there. Nobody complains about being there. Bill, even if Maureen doesn't want to go, I guarantee you if you took her, she'd be like, oh, I don't know why I didn't want to go there.
Yeah.
She's a stick in the mud sometimes. I hope she's not watching. No, but it's true.
She's watching.
But no, I mean, I know that. I feel that's the way I feel about it. It's like, you know, once you get there, there's stuff to do. I know. I mean, trust me. But it's all on me at the moment. You know, I will make it out there. Of course, you know, you're all old friends. You know, Wyatt's there. The only thing I have to say is, was Morger there? I haven't seen a single photograph with Morger in it. No video clip, no photograph. It's almost as if he wasn't there.
Man, I'm sure if you saw like a tan leather jacket floating around, I mean, I'm sure.
I have not seen one. He wasn't in Robert's photos. He's not in your video. And everybody who's posted photos from the show, not one of them has Morger in it. It's show me one. Show me one. It's like he's not there. I've been waiting for Mark. Mark was going to send me stuff. He hasn't sent it to me yet. And I kept thinking Morger's going to be in one of Mark's, and I haven't gotten that yet. So, you know, it is.
Yeah, that's weird. He was definitely there. He was around. That is very strange. A lot of people thought I wasn't there because I was so busy I couldn't leave the room where I was with my artists.
That is true.
A lot of the time, I mean, if I wasn't like picking up art from Tatiana, it would have to be like after hours that I would actually see her. Whereas last year I'd bump into her, just kind of walking the con floor or whatever.
I had no money to spend, so it worked out. I would have been in trouble if I'd been walking around.
Well, that's all right. So you know, but at the end of the day, the show is very much, or there's a big, you know, the big part of it is just the location and the fact that old friends, new friends, and people you've met online, it's the opportunity to get to hang out. I mean, at the end of the day, you know, when we're going to see in the video from Aranga, because Aranga, you did like a full walkthrough, you know, you get a better feel for the space, you get a better feel for the, you know, the number of attendees and how, you know, how it isn't crowded, all that kind of stuff. I mean, that, you know, you can tell. I mean, it's a show, you know, and all the artist tables, there's at least like a table's width in between them, kind of a thing, you know, in most places. So everybody's got a lot of space. Yeah, it doesn't feel crowded, and that's what makes the show special. I mean, it really is. I mean, it's not a U.S. style show at the end of the day. I think that's
you could walk all weekend and not bump into anybody, which is bizarre. Like there's so much space. It's a large area, and the, you know, limited amount of attendees. It's definitely different.
Very
and
true.
At any point, if you need a break, you literally just walk out the door, and it's just the most gorgeous place you've ever been in your life. So, I mean, I will be there every year, whether I'm selling or not, whether I make money or not. It's just one of my favorite places in the world. And, you know, I remember seeing before the show people complaining on, you know, certain Facebook groups about the pricing and, oh, I can't believe in this and this, and, oh, the show's only for whales. And you can ask anyone who goes to the show, that is absolutely not true. And this show does not cost any more to attend. Like when you look at the big picture of how much you spend for flight and accommodations and all that, it doesn't cost any more to go to this show than it costs to go to San Diego or New York. Unless, you know, I'm not talking about locals, but like if you fly across the country from the East Coast to go to San Diego Comic-Con, you're likely going to pay more to go to that show by the end of the week than you would pay to go to Como. So, and once you're at the show in Como, really there are prices for every budget. Mm-hmm. Even with the big artists, there was a lot of opportunity for things like remarks or small sketches. So this is just an incredible opportunity to meet artists you've loved your whole life, you've never gotten to meet, and actually get to talk to them. And you will be able to walk away with something. Like, look, I'm not saying you're going to be able to buy a Manara cover, and there are certain people we know who might be here today. But, you know, you're going to be able to look at that art. You're going to be able to talk to him. You might be able to get a small sketch from him. And that just makes it so incredibly worth it. And that's why people like Aranga came last year. And now he's going to want to, came again this year because he knows how great of an experience it was.
Yep. And you know what? I mean, I don't know if you want to like play the video first, Bill, but like I think it's kind of important to address what Tatiana's talking about. I mean, it was roses for me. I had a great time, but there have been questions. I've noticed that this year, like just online and the general opinions kind of floating around, there seemed to have been a little bit more controversy, if you will, from people who didn't go. If you want me to give my 2 cents on that, or you want to play the video first and then kind of discuss it?
Well, why don't you give your 2 cents on it? Because I saw different stuff too, but because we got time to play the video. But
okay, like I'll tell you, right? It's kind of what Tatiana says was there was a lot of people that were talking about, hey, you've got to be, it's only whales that go and attend this thing, and you've got to be, rolling in it to afford any of the art. That is absolutely not true. But it's also, you have to acknowledge there's a cost attached to it, right? I mean, not everyone can afford to take the time off and kind of, get an international flight, go there, etc. If you want, I'll give you a breakdown, right? For anyone that's interested. When I looked, flights around that time to Milan, because you're going into the peak season, they're anywhere between, at least in my part of the country, anywhere between $1,000 to $1,500. To be honest with you, they didn't. This year was like really high, so they never really dipped below $1,500. Once you get there, it just really depends on kind of where you want to stay. There's Airbnbs that you can get literally like a 3-minute walk from Villa Urba for like $100 a night. I'm not even joking. It's like $100 a night that you can stay there. As far as what you're buying, some of the bigger names, the Delatos, whatever you mentioned, whether they were in a US show or in Italy, they're gonna cost the same for you to get them, right? It's that's just how it is. Gary Frank, 11x17 full figure, $600. Okay, it's fantastic,
pretty fair,
just incredibly detailed. And that's not even, and I would say even that's like the medium to high end. There are artists doing stuff for $200, $250, $100, whatever it is. For every budget is kind of addressed there. There was one thing that was a little bit controversial this year was the auction format for First in Line.
Right. Can I say one thing though? I saw that. As a business person who's involved in selling and marketing and all that stuff, I actually thought the idea was fine. As much as people want to complain about it, the show needs, shows don't make a lot of money, and if that money helps the show make a little extra revenue and guarantee a person's place in line, I think that's fine. I actually had no problem with that. I didn't wade into the conversations about it, but I thought it was fine because maybe I don't know if there was a limit on could Aranga literally be first on everyone's list if he wanted to spend $20,000? Maybe we didn't find out. Maybe there needed to be. Maybe if anything, you put a limit on the number of times a person can be first in a list. But at the end of the day, if they're the one who's willing to spend the most money and that money goes to the show, I think. I wish I would have thought of that idea first. It just it's a fair process that allows the show to make a little extra money. And if you're going to begrudge the show, a little extra money because it's so hard to be profitable as a show, then you're looking in the wrong direction there. I thought that was a really great idea. Whoever came up with that is a genius.
I'm gonna gently take the opposite view.
Okay.
After speaking with several collectors, I didn't participate in it just because I'm never the guy that's running to be. It was actually tailor made for a guy like me that's not getting up and lining up at 5 a.m.
Yeah.
to try to get to an artist table, etc., etc. But the lining up at 5 a.m. or what you're willing to do to be first at the table is kind of like the great leveler, right? Regardless of how much you can pay and whatever. So from that point of view, from a collector's point of view, it's a really leveling factor. Whether you have the money or not, if you're willing to pitch a tent out there at like 5 a.m., I mean, there were people lining up at 5 a.m. You can do it regardless of how much you have and how much you can afford to spend on a pre-bid to be first in line. There was also the argument made at one point, like, hey, it's no different than Disneyland with the skip the line pass,
Yeah, sure.
or whatever. The difference is with Disneyland, if you had to wait and someone skipped the line, they don't stop the ride after that first go, right? A lot of artists, they were only doing one commission, or not
see,
a lot.
now that was the thing, because the list of people on the auction were like probably the most important artists, or I don't even want to use that word, but they were probably ones that the show was flying out or something. But whatever, at the end of the day, it felt like I get both sides to the argument, but at the same time, I guess you're thinking of it like that. If the artist was only doing one spot, then I guess that would be a little disappointing, right?
Yeah,
but
especially like if you've come a long way, and I think the auction was announced
how did the auction? That's the other thing I haven't seen a single photograph from. Tatiana, you gave me so many great videos from the auction last year. I didn't get.
Oh, so there was no auction this year, and that was something that was decided on the last day. They're going to be doing an online auction. So there was the big tablecloth with all the sketches on it that you may have seen. So it started out with that, and then the discussion became, should the auction only be for con attendees, or should we have it online? And also using that to promote next year's show in a handful of months from now. And so they were going back and forth on that over the weekend. And by Sunday, Steve told me that that's what they were planning to do. So the good thing is that everybody who wasn't there will have an opportunity to bid on that. We don't know how the pre-auction thing went for the commissions, though. That I have no idea. How
it was done over email.
Yeah, because it was just all by email. And I think you both have great points about it. I don't think it's a thing that's necessarily right or wrong. I mean, we have a couple collectors who come to the show every year who are in wheelchairs. So, they're not going to be that 5 a.m. person. I also don't know if they're bidding on these at all either, but it's like there's, I think neither opinion is right or wrong. It's just different viewpoints on that. But I can see why it became controversial. I can understand that. But at the end of the day, and I think Jason had mentioned in the comments a little bit back, like asking if this is like a show with an elitist attitude. And the answer is absolutely not. I mean, at the end of the day, when you go in there, it's a smaller show. It's like a tighter kind of group. But it's just a bunch of us nerds looking at art and buying art. And it's just the same. It's the same us that we're at every show, right? And you get to meet new people. It's just more targeted to us versus us and all the other things you see at larger shows. But really, this show, nobody's judging at all how much money you're spending. You can come in with a budget of, 50 grand. You could come in with a budget of $50. Nobody's judging. We're all just there to have fun. And I think it's nice to have options, kind of for different price ranges, depending on what it is that people need.
It's to me, it's like the absolute opposite of elitist, right? Regardless of some of the stuff I've said. I mean, that was more an opinion on the auction format and whatever. It's really the opposite of it, because you're an artist that you would maybe have a 30-second conversation with. They got a lot of them. Their guards are down. I mean, they're having fun. It's a good time. It's not like a cattle call of attendees kind of coming through. So it doesn't matter who it is. I mean, I've seen, just 3 or 4 people sitting around the table, just having a good time. talking. The Friday night reception is fantastic. For mingling, I would say, in a weird way, it's less elitist than some US cons.
True. And it might be, people might look at it as, if they were to go to the show, they're going to want to get 25 pieces, because if they're going to pay to fly all the way out there, and they see the guest list, they're going to be like, I want to get 25 pieces. I mean, it's got to be worth my while. I got to spend that. And in order to spend that, and I didn't see a $20,000 comment in there, but maybe they start thinking like that. Oh my God, if I'm going to go there and make it worth my while, I've got to at least get, even if it's 12 pieces, that means, if they're even if they're $600 on average, they got to bring $8,000 just to buy artwork. So I think, that might be part of the, the challenge in thinking about a show like this, because typically you go to, a ReedPop show or a Fan Expo show, there might be 6 or 12 artists you're interested in maybe getting something from when you go. But you go to this show, the distance you're traveling and the list of artists, you look at it and you say, there's 25, there could be 50 artists here that I'd love to get something from. The only way you can do that is if you brought, fat stacks of cash. And I think that might be why people tend to complain, at the end of the day.
We have people who only come to Como. It's the only show they do as a fan all year, and they buy little to nothing else. Mm-hmm. On eBay or on auctions or anywhere else the rest of the year. So if you think about, and I'm just saying you generally to the audience, if you think about all the things you buy all year long, and if you didn't buy any of that and you saved everything towards this one goal, it's $8 a lot of money no matter how you slice it. But a lot of people spend a lot more in this hobby than they think they do. They just spend it $100 at a time, a couple $100 at a time.
Yeah.
And, go back in your CAF and look at your year. Click on that 2022 and look at how much money you spent. It's a lot more than you think. So, it just depends on how people want to prioritize things, right? If you are like, yeah, I really want a Menard. Last year, I bought a Serpieri. I've been a Serpieri fan since I was 18. It was not cheap. It was not cheap, but for me, it was like, that's one and done, right? I've loved him my entire adult life. I have a piece of art from him. It means a lot to me, and I can check that off my list, right? So it just depends on priorities and things. I mean, there's a lot of different ways to look at it.
Right.
And for a lot of European collectors, it's an easy show to go to. So for them, it's a bonus.
And there's a lot of US collectors that kind of use Como as a stopover point for a larger vacation. Because, once you actually get to Como, right? It's $100, $150 to fly to Spain or wherever the heck or pretty much anywhere in Europe from there. You're talking about sub $200 to go somewhere else. So a lot of the collectors that I met kind of plan their whole year out and make this like their big, I'm going to buy some art, I'm going to travel, spend another week, etc., etc. So it may not be something you do every year, but it's definitely something you could do, save up for a couple of years and make it like a big vacation. I do understand not everybody has the ability to do that, but if we're spending on art,
right. Well, I think we've learned the value of the social side of our hobby, the friendships we've made and all that stuff. And, and this is an opportunity to take a bit of a break and hang out with friends and meet new friends and hang out with creators. And it's, you got to do it at least once at the end of the day. And if you can do it more often, that's why, I think like you said, Tatiana, it's an easy show for Europeans to go to. It's surprising. It didn't catch on a little bit sooner, but it looks like finally, that, they're getting it. And they're getting over there. I think that's fantastic. All the effort that goes into pulling that show together, it's not easy. And it was nice to see. So maybe we should play the video now, because you can see that how the layout is. I know you didn't get a chance to walk the whole space of Ranga, but you walked a lot of it.
But my hand was hurting. I'm sorry I sent it to you in multiple clips. I was just getting so tired, man. I would think it was 3. And we'd had a couple bottles of wine at lunch, and it wasn't great.
I get it. So here, I'm going to play the video. It's about a little over 7 minutes, I believe, and then we can talk a little bit after that. We see this, and I didn't edit out your commentary, so there is some commentary.
Oh man, I did the commentary thinking you would edit it out.
I thought about it, but it just adds a little bit of flavor to it. So
okay.
So here we go. The video shot by Aranga.
Filming a video for CAF.
Are you?
Yeah. Bill. Yeah, you're gonna be on there. I'll send you a link. You want to be on a CAF video real quick? Say hey.
Hey, hi.
Free soft shells.
CAF video, say what's up.
What's oh CAF guys.
Hey guys.
It's not live. Alright. Hey Art, I'm doing a video for
Are you? I had no idea.
comic art fans.
For comic art fans?
Yeah.
What's a comic art fan?
Oh, cat video. Jason, say what's up.
Hey guys, how are you?
Sorry, couldn't be. Doing a video for cats. Byron, cat video. Say what's up.
Hey man, what's up? How's it going?
Are you waiting for a remark?
Cat video. Say what's up.
What's up?
Scott, say hi to Bill Cox.
Hey, what's up, Bill?
Owen, a little Jeff's exciting.
There you have it. See, the commentary was good, Aranga. Let's add a little color, a little flavor to to the video. I left it in.
All right, it wasn't as bad as I thought.
Yeah, it was
Oh.
not bad. And I think you got the whole thing. I think you got all the rooms, at least a brief tour through each room.
Yeah, I think I did. It was it was you cut into my nap time, Bill, with your request. Because that is what I do. Pro move. Like I stay close enough that I take a little siesta after lunch and then come back, walk around.
All right. Well, yeah, I think the only room that you I didn't get to see a lot of was where Mark was at, Mark Hayes, Splash Pages room. But you kind of went in there and you could see I could see a tablecloth or something with Splash Page on it. But you know, I don't have to see Mark. He's going to send me photos one day. I'll actually get to see probably what the booth looked like then.
I
But
also missed the bar, unfortunately, because there is a bar inside the con.
I thought I saw people walking around with drinks, but
Uh-huh.
I wasn't sure.
Yeah, people don't care about that in Italy. Like, you can go get an espresso and have a glass of wine. Nobody cares.
Larry wants to
Yeah.
know if you were hungover when you shot that video, Aranga.
I had gotten over my hangover, and then lunch kind of added to it after that. And
There
it's
you
just
go.
a cycle. It's just a cycle. Adulting is
I can't answer this one, but both of you can. Jason want to know if the prices are comparable, to what they would charge at a U.S. show or
for
better.
the art.
For the art, like at
I'm
somebody's booth.
assuming?
Yeah,
Yeah,
for commission
yeah,
prices, remarks, that kind of thing.
Yep. And you know what? Here's the other thing, right? Like everyone complains about that people charge for signatures and stuff. There are specific times during the day, and they did this so that artists didn't have to stop drawing to sign. But there's free signing periods. Tatiana, was it like there was a couple hour period in the morning?
It's like
and
the
then
end. It was the end of the day each day.
Right. Right.
Which makes sense. So, like you said, it doesn't disrupt drawing. They can
Yeah.
wrap up whatever they're drawing, and then it was the end of the day.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like bring a whole suitcase and we'll sign everything. It was a limit. I think it was 3 or 5 books per person, but
Right.
yeah.
And the other bonus is like if you're traveling from the US or whatever, you're not using your luggage room to bring like a crate of comic books.
Right. That's very
So
true. Only
yeah.
the Europeans are lugging comics around probably at that show. I would
Actually,
imagine.
yeah, a lot of it was, but like there were people getting remarks done, and more than comparable to a lot of people got a lot of free stuff. By the way, if it was like especially from the European artists who are used to doing free, just quick rough sketches.
Yeah.
We're not talking about a commission or a headshot or something like that, but there are a lot of people that walked away with free stuff, and there's a lot of that too.
There you go. Well, that's I've been talking about Como since the first show, although not on live streams. But I firmly believe in it, and I believe in Morger. He was a fantastic runner of the Big Wow show with Wyatt at his side, and I knew that Como's going to be as good as and better than what he was able to do back in San Jose. So I mean, I encourage everybody to try to put it on your schedule. It really is. It's really worthwhile, and again, it's a unique opportunity, especially if you're going for the European artists, right? As those creators, by and large, do not come across the pond. We don't get to see them at U.S. shows at all. I mean, a lot of the U.S. artists, sure, we're going to see them, and it's a different venue. But for me, if I was going to go, I'd be looking at the European artists as the ones that I'd be hoping to at least say hi to. If I can't pick something up, at least I'd introduce myself to them, because that might be the only time I'd ever have the opportunity to do that. So, I mean, everybody's going to go there for their own, different reason, but for me, that would be a big part of it. And then just the camaraderie. You look at the reception the night before, that looks like 10 tons of fun. I mean, I've seen pictures from the old ones too, when when Neil Adams was there, and Lee, and seeing Albert hanging out with them and stuff. I mean, it's fun. It's definitely not a show that you're going to get here in the U.S. By anywhere. So it's worth the trip.
Hey, and I've got some videos from the post reception at the Sheraton that I don't think I could share here.
I was gonna say you probably can't share those.
Hey, someone twist my arm, and I will show it to you there on my phone. They're cool.
But
I also
don't
hear
share. I
where,
might be in some of those. Don't share any of those.
yeah, you might be. Bill, but it sounds like for the people that don't want to make the investment to go overseas to an artist-centric show, there may be something around the bend here that they could go to.
Well,
Like
we're
maybe
working
in the
on something.
southern part of the United States.
Yeah.
Right? Like something like that. It sounds like
There is,
Yeah.
but we're not talking about that right now. But yes, there definitely will be something in Central Florida in 2024. But still, have they picked? Let's keep talking about Como though. Did they already set dates for next year? Didn't they, Tatiana? I swear I saw something posted over on the Big Wow's Facebook page.
So I was told that they have dates, but they're trying to move them back a week because it was a week further out. The show right now is right on the cusp of tourist season. And they're trying to not go into tourist season because then obviously everything gets more expensive. Like the reason you can get great rates on an Airbnb is because it's technically like a little bit before the season starts.
Right.
So he's trying to get it, trying to keep it that same weekend. That's what I heard.
And that would make a huge difference to flights as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I can see how it's odd. I mean, because for me, our show next year would be on the 18th and 19th and that's the earliest it would have ever been, because the 31st is on a Friday. So Memorial Day is the 27th. And I always try to be the weekend before the weekend of Memorial Day. So I would be on the 18th and 19th. So, yeah, I could see where that's problematic. I mean, I don't know if that's the dates he was thinking of, 18th and 19th, but that's where I would end up being for Comic Art Live if I stuck with my dates. So you
I don't know
and he are in
details.
touch.
I was just somebody told me that he had a weekend but was trying to move it back.
All right. Well, I'll at least hit him an email with my dates, because I really can't move mine, because I wouldn't want to be the weekend before Memorial Day Monday, right? I mean, that would just be, you wouldn't have the turnout at all. So I can't do it that weekend either. But I can see that it's a weird looking month, the way it is on the calendar there. Anyway, but I'm making a note to send Steve an email when we're done here today, just so he knows. Okay, Cool. Well, the thing is, it's a great show. We know it's a great show. It's gonna be around and for a long time, and it looks like there's still some room left in the space to maybe add a few other artists, or did they max it out? Can't tell.
I think the space was mostly used, but
Oh.
honestly, for the ratio this year, there was probably too many guests. They might cut back a little bit next year.
Mm.
Yeah.
Well, but hopefully they get more attendees, every year.
Yeah.
But well, that's it is what it is. But so well, when I get some dates from Steve, I'll start letting everybody know when that is. But it looked like a great time. And Aranga, I appreciate that because I'd never gotten a walkthrough before. So that was fun. We tried doing that, Tatiana, last year, but the internet thing just dies. We tried it, Aranga, too.
And we tried to do it live, and I was, the internet might have been fine, but like it might have been operator error. I'm gonna say it was the internet, but
No,
I
it
gotta
was
say,
internet. Because it happened to Bill and I last year.
Yeah,
We
as soon as the
tested
show
it the day
started.
before, and it was totally fine, and then it just wouldn't work.
screw you, Como internet.
Yes, that's the
Look,
only thing. That's the one thing they can improve on is that. And then we could do live streams from there. And
Yeah.
that's
Italy's not in a hurry to do anything, so that's just how it goes.
right. Well,
I'm not gonna belabor the point, but I gotta tell you, like, just in just to kind of wrap up my thoughts on the thing.
Yeah.
Someone asked, I think it was Tariq, maybe. Yes, I'm 100% going back next year. It's already been decided. Until it's around, as long as I'm able to, obviously, I plan to go back every year. And again, it's to do with the show is wonderful. It's to do with the people I met there, the people I get to meet like once a year now because of that. And there's a group that's starting to form that are there every year. Before you prejudge it, if you have the opportunity, I would really, really suggest you attend at least once. And kind of go there with an open mind. I think you'll be surprised, and if you have a bad time. I mean, I don't know.
You're doing something
I
wrong,
don't know
right?
anybody.
I feel bad for you as a human being. Yeah.
Like, I don't know any single person who's left and been like, "Well, that show sucked. I'm not going."
Yeah.
Like, I have not heard that from anybody.
Yeah. So if you have the ability to save up for it, do it once. Use the opportunity to explore Europe while you're at it. You won't regret it. Sorry about that.
And did you show Carlos Mo wanted to know if you actually posted your art pickups?
I did not. I haven't posted it to CAF. I haven't posted it to anything, to Sketch Prices, nothing.
Yeah. What are you waiting for?
I had shit to
I
do,
understand.
Bill.
You had to get back to work. That's why you left on Monday.
Yeah. I mean, I flew back and I was home for less than 24 hours, and I had to go on a work trip to Minneapolis, so that was fun.
Exactly. Peter Rowe, Como started in 2018. 2018, 2019, and then they were not open in 2020 and 2021 because of COVID, and then they've been in place in 2022 and this year too. So they've done 4 shows so far.
And Tatiana's been at all 4, right?
Yep.
I've been to 2,
All
so
right.
I'm a 50%er.
Man, I'm still at 0. We got 4, 2, and 0. All right. Well, we'll work on that. So, but thank you for taking all those photos, Aranga. And we may get one more shot at seeing photos if Mark A would ever send me what he took while he was there. So, I can only hope, pray, and we'll see. But he promised me I'd have those videos already, and I haven't gotten them. But Tatiana, as I guess we'll be talking tomorrow. But
Yep.
It's always good to see you. I like your wood stove behind you. I know that's what you got there.
That's Colorado for you.
Exactly. I love it. I don't love this. I don't miss the snow though. But yes, thank you for all the the videos and getting to see this finally. And again, I know we'll be talking about Como probably a lot throughout the year, especially as you guys start gearing up for the next show and doing the announcements and everything. So Tatiana, I'm always here to help in any way that I possibly can.
Much appreciated for sure.
All right.
My pleasure, Bill.
No, thank you, Ranga. All right. I'll see you both again very soon, I'm sure.
Yep. Thanks,
All right,
Bill.
thanks.
Thanks, everyone.
See ya. All right. See, yeah, Como's awesome. It really is. I mean, at the end of the day, I do regret that I've not been able to make it out there. And at some point I will be able to fix that. But boy, that sounds like I'm going to have to. I definitely need to email Steve, because if you look at the calendar for May next year, it's the way it's laid out. I can see why they might be trying to move themselves to the same weekend that I would be on, because otherwise they're like the second weekend, but in May, but early. They would be on the 11th and the 12th. So I can see why they don't like that, but I can't change my date either. So that would be a bad thing to happen, but we'll work that out. We'll do our best to work it out. So now the moment I think all of you have been waiting for. It's especially when I don't spell the gentleman's name properly in an email. Well, actually I spelled it right in the email. In the artwork that I put together for it, I spelled Jason D'Ambrosio's name wrong. I'll never be able to live that moment down, but I can bring him into the show right now and apologize in person. Jason, I am so sorry.
No worries, Bill. It's not the first time somebody's put an A at the end of there, so it's all good.
Well, I was looking on the keyboard. I'm like, I'm going to tell him the A and the O are next to each other. And I looked at him, I'm like, oh, shit.
Far apart as possible.
So I knew I was in trouble when I didn't have a lie that I could fall back on. I don't know how I did that. Anyway, but Jason, so, it's so good to see you. So would you like to get out to Como someday? I mean, is that?
I would, Bill. I would. I actually thought about it last year. I kind of was trying to put it together. I just, I would want to make a longer trip out of it, right? I'm Italian. So if I'm going to go to Italy, I've never been.
Right.
I'd want to have Como be a piece of the trip more than the actual trip, but it's definitely something I want to get done at some point. So yeah, Arango tells me all the stories behind the scenes, and there's some fun stuff that goes on that was not in those videos. So I'd love to be part of that.
I know I saw a lot of photographs of Arango in bars. I don't, at the hotel bar. I mean, he always had a drink in his hand. I didn't want to say that when he was on camera with us. I know he's in the chat now, so I can embarrass him there. But it's true. But he always seems to be having a great time. He was always around some pretty cool people. Every single time there was a photograph with him, it's like, man, you should just follow Arango around when you go to a show like that, because you're always going to get hooked up with. Anthony says you look Irish, Jason.
And you look not Greek, Anthony. I'm sorry, buddy.
That's so true. So very true.
Before you put the door up, Bill, yeah. I do have a couple things I want to say. All right. So
yes.
Number one, the reason I asked you to come on this is not because of how great the art is or what have you, but I just feel like this piece came from the community. So I wanted to share it with the community. All right. So let me just put that out there first. The second thing I want to say is I want to apologize to Jeff Wedding and his Hembeck Legion, who are upset that I didn't come on to show another piece that they all wanted me to see, which I actually took it off the wall so I could at least flash it for Jeff. So Jeff, there you go. There's the Hembeck 141 recreation that you wanted me to focus on, which I am also very proud of. But that's not the reason we're on here today. So Jeff, I checked that box for you as you asked. So thank you. So getting to the piece that we're going to look at today, our friend James always talks about comic art karma, right? Like how you treat people in the community comes back to you and get you the right pieces or what have you. And I believe in that. I'm not like, St. James who does it, lives and dies it, but I feel like I'm good like that. If I see a piece I think somebody would like, I'll send it over to them. And, if somebody asks me to step aside in an auction, I'll usually do that. And, I've had people approach me for pieces in my collection. And if it meant that much more to them, I've given it up. Right. So I think this piece kind of came from that for a couple reasons. Right. So the first reason is, you and I we always stand on a hill as the Cyclops people, right? Like everybody always jumps on the bandwagon in the chat about how bad Cyclops is. And my comment is always send me all the Cyclops art, right? That's what I say in the comments every week when Dan and Marcus start jumping on and start attacking it. So that's the first part of, the karma, the Cyclops. And then the last piece is this came up. I would have never even known this piece was available, because it was Sunday night late after Comic Art Live, and somebody dropped the link in the big chat. You know, the big chat we have, right? The all the people that were on the show before. So I think it was Duke actually, and if I'm giving the wrong person credit, I apologize. But somebody dropped the link for this piece from eBay and was just like, "Hey, this just popped up on eBay. This auction just popped up. It's kind of a cool piece." And I went and looked at it, and I was like, "Wow, that's like perfect for my collection. It's an artist I really like. Let me shoot this guy an offer and see if I can get him to stop the auction." And
did he have a make offer? Was there a make offer on it, or did you? Okay, so there was that.
There was a make offer. There was a make offer. So I went a little higher than what he had the starting bid at. So I really wasn't too confident that he was even going to entertain it. And to my surprise, he accepted it within a half hour. So that's my build up for this. So Bill, if you want to show it, or I can just show the real piece.
You do that, and then I'll show that more detail. I mean, did you think about me when you pulled the trigger on that one? That's what I want to know. It was Marcus and the ridicule that I've had to tolerate for the last year. Did that cross your mind? It had to have.
Bill, I'll tell you, right? Like, so I love Bachalo. I love Bachalo's art, and even afterwards, like, I don't know if you know how it works, but like in New Jersey, I got to pay tax on eBay. James is in Oklahoma; they don't have to pay tax. James is like, "Oh, you should have had me put the offer in, or what have you." And I just really didn't think the guy was even going to entertain the offer because I didn't go that much over what the starting bid was supposed to be. So I didn't even think of like sending it. I wanted it. Obviously, it fits perfect for my collection. It's an Uncanny X-Men cover by Bachalo, and it just came together so quickly and so surprisingly, and it just fit with everything within the community. So many things that made sense that I just had to come on and share it with everybody live. So thank you for coming on here. You let me come on and do this. But like I said, I think it was just rolling of so many different pieces that came together to make this piece happen. So I wanted to share it with everybody.
Oh boy. Yeah. And lots of positive comments. Kaiser said such a shame to get a Bachalo piece that has Cyclops all over it. I mean, how many are on there? 8 or 9? There's plenty.
Yeah, I think it's like 9. I think Miggs counted them this afternoon when I sent him a picture of it. So I think
but I mean, this was awesome, and it's funny. You had messaged me about it, and I hadn't had the chance yet to actually read the report because Colin put it together, and you're like, it's in the report. How could you not see it? And like, I hadn't even read it yet, so I'm kind of jealous too. That's an awesome piece, man. I mean,
yeah, I didn't think it was going to get here because I checked the tracking last night, and it said it was supposed to be delivered today. But the last stop was still in Texas, according to the tracking. So I'm like, oh, it's going to be late. We're never going to be able to pull this off. And this morning it was here, and I let you know as soon as it arrived.
Everybody's just see now they're getting in on it. Even Cyclops doesn't like Cyclops. Cyclops living the dream, killing Cyclops. Cyclops can't even stand other versions of himself.
Bill, ask them all to come on and show their Bachalo Uncanny X-Men cover. And
Exactly. That's very, very true. But no, Jason, I'm glad that you wanted to do this because, I feel like we can both thumb our noses to the haters out there at the same time. But no, that's awesome. And congrats, man. I mean, and we talk about that all the time about it doesn't hurt to make offers on eBay. When the seller is open to taking them, just go for it. You just never know. I mean, what you're going to end up getting. And if it saves you money, it's so worth it. They can turn you down, but you still, it's still worth giving it a chance. Cause I mean, I'm sure, even if you save 15%, that's still a darn good chunk of change there.
Yeah. Well, it was going to be an auction, Bill. So God only knows what it went for.
That's true.
A buy now would make an offer. It was an open auction with a make offer.
Well, congratulations, Jason. How many is there only one Cyclops on that shirt though?
There's only one Cyclops on the shirt. Yes.
Okay, because I see it has the year. I wasn't sure if it maybe.
Yeah, it's just all the Jim Lee X-Men.
All right. That's
community too. Fish bought this shirt for me. To be honest with you.
Wow, Fish. That's so. I don't even know. I don't have words for it, but that's awesome. Jim Lee did make my top 5. He was
He
number
did.
5.
He did. We'll have to find. We'll just keep saying it in the air. Hopefully, it'll pop up on eBay, Bill, and you'll find something for a good price. One other thing before I go, James told me I have to mention. See, he just said it in the chat.
Yes, he did.
That the next month's what is that thing called? Sketchbook.
Yes, the next sketchbook for June will be
Vehicles. So everybody go find some art with a vehicle on it. Cyclops doesn't have any vehicles on it, so I won't be able to enter that. But James, my job is done here. Thank you, everybody. I hope you liked Cyclops, and all the Cyclops art came to me, just like I talked about in the chat. So make sure you put it into the universe, and sometimes it happens.
There you go. Well, thank you, Jason. I appreciate it. And hey, if anyone else out there ever gets a unique piece of art that you feel, this is the place to show it off for the very first time, but it's got to be before you post it to CAF, because it's got to be a secret. Just hit me up. I thought this was fun. We should do it more often. Definitely.
Thank you for having me, Bill. Bye, guys.
See you, Jason. All right. And it's true. I would be happy to have anybody on, as long as it's something we can show on the channel, of course. But, what art can't we not show on here? So anyways, thank you, Jason, for doing that. And as he mentioned, the sketchbook theme for June will be vehicles. So we just didn't work out getting James back on here to do a vote. So we're going with the thing that had the second most votes last time around. So let me see. I know I was trying to highlight comments throughout the whole thing. So I didn't miss anything important, but let me look at my starred comments. Anthony gave me $1.99. He asked me what art I bought. You mean at Comic Art Live? I bought an X-Men page by Dave Cockrum, Anthony. Let's see. Are there going to be VIP tickets at the OAX show? Well, the OAX show is going to be a 3-day show. It's a 2-day show. It's a weekend show, like most shows, but we will have a Friday night reception as well. That will be for all the exhibitors and VIPs. So technically there will be a VIP ticket available for the show. We're going to have, it'll be like a 6 to 9 p.m. get together on Friday, and it'll be part Comic Art fans birthday celebration, because we're starting every year early February is our anniversary, so that's part of the reception, and then of course it's a kickoff for the show. So there will be that. Ticket prices aren't 100% finalized. I think I saw a question about that, but they will be soon, because by this time next week, what is it? It will be is it what it is the first next week, right? Am I mistaken? No, it is the first, and I promised that we would have ticket sales for OAX by this time next week. So we'll have all of that worked out and posted to the oa-expo.com website. So I'm working on the new site right now, and it's taking a little bit of time to show it. Anthony, I don't have it in my hands yet. I'll have it. I don't even have it. I have nothing. I don't even have an electronic file that I can show you. I mean, I could show it to you on everybody else has seen it. Anthony, you're the only one that didn't see it. I mean, I could show it to you. I think it's in my saved items still, but anyway, let's see here. Yeah, I can show it. So it's well, I can't get to it. That's right. All right. Yes, even I can't get to it from that page. I can show it to you from here though. Not that way. Doggone it. My internet powers are not quite what they should be tonight, apparently. There you go. Now I can show it that way. All right. Yep. So that was the page I picked up. End page to X-Men 150 right there. Great. It's got this whole Star Wars reference in there too. It's great. It's got Cyclops without a shirt on. How often are you going to see that, Marcus? You got little bits of Wolverine in there and everybody else, and a fun ending to Kitty on there as well. So that was the page that I picked up. Did Maureen say, holy crap? She actually told me to do it, because I told her I'd sell some art. There is a vehicle in that, Marcus. You're absolutely right. I guess I could put that one in there for next month's sketchbook theme. Very good. Thank you for pointing that out. It is first run, Anthony. Let's see. Will we be able to buy tickets and do the hotel rooms at the same time? Yes, Wayne. When we open up the ticket sales on June 1st, we will also provide links for the hotel block as well. And we got a good rate with the Hilton DoubleTree where we're at, right across from Universal, and they're not charging any resort fees, and they have guaranteed the rate 3 days prior and 3 days after the show. So anybody who's planning on coming in early for a couple extra days or staying later, is they'll have that opportunity. Bill, is someone doing a first annual OAX poster? That is something we're talking about, Chuck. So it's a possibility. I mean, something will happen. I can't, we haven't talked about it enough to where I can say, yes, we are absolutely doing a first annual OAX poster. But is it walkable to Universal? Alberto, it is literally across the street from Universal. I can pull up a map just to show you literally how close this thing is. Let's see, Hilton DoubleTree, blah, blah, blah. Let's see if I can pull it up on a map. So you can see, I mean, so the thing is, the show is going to be 12 to 5 each day, Saturday and Sunday. And we'll have an art auction on the evening prior. On Saturday evening, sorry. But anyways, this right here is the Hilton DoubleTree where I'm sitting at. And this is Universal. This is Lowe's Portofino. Keeps highlighting that. But Lowe's Portofino is right across the street from the Hilton DoubleTree. And there's a crosswalk. I should zoom in even more here, right? There is a crosswalk right here. So the Hilton is right here. I mean, like I can do layers for you. So you can see here's the park. City Walk is all right in here. And the Hilton DoubleTree is right here. So this is Lowe's Portofino right across the street. So it's a 15-minute walk to get to City Walk. And obviously there's a couple dozen dining options there if you want. There's restaurants all around the area. So again, I mean, it's a 1-minute Uber or a 15-minute walk. Very close. And Disney, is just 20 minutes down I-4, which is, this major interstate right here. So it's pretty much close to all the parks, but especially Universal. Universal's got Islands of Adventure, and it's got the Simpsons ride and all that stuff. So very entertainment focused venue. And most likely I will be letting, I'll probably announce it at some point, but, I'll probably spend most of my day on Monday there after the show. So anybody that is interested in staying an extra day, I can tell you that I'll be there for that. And like Kazra just mentioned, Kazra is helping me on OAX. We're working together on the entire gig, having a lot of fun doing it. The hotel is a partner with Universal, so they actually do shuttles in the morning. And I think throughout most of the day, though, I know they have like the biggest ratio of trips back and forth in the morning and in the evening. So it really works out very well. I mean, I think we're pretty happy with it. I wish I could show some photographs of it, but it's a great space. Lots of natural lighting. Maybe not as blinding as it was at Como, where all the walls were all windows, but the space we have is 20,000 square feet. The east and west walls are all windowed, and the ceilings are 30 foot tall. So it's a very, very accommodating space for an art show. I think everybody's going to be really happy with that. And even more so is the fact that the whole room, all 20,000 square feet, are carpeted, and it is nice, spongy, soft carpet. It's not like, your indoor outdoor carpet on top of concrete. So you will not have sore feet when this show is over. Not only is it just a great space like that, but you're not going to be your dogs won't be barking when it's all over. Has the talent that will be there been announced yet? We have announced some. Of course, I don't have my list in front of me. Sean Gordon Murphy, Adam Kubert, Jimmy and Amanda are going to be there. Mike Allred. Have I really announced anybody else yet? I know. George Pratt will be there. I haven't officially announced that yet, but George will be there. I'm doing an interview with George in a few weeks. We're going to talk. That was going to be a topic of conversation. We have a few other people who are hopefully in the works. Jason wishes John Byrne. His name keeps coming up, but it's not shag carpet though, Rich. But and Jack Kirby will not be. We might try to channel him, but I doubt that's going to happen. But at any rate, our show OAX is the last weekend in January 2024. So it's the 26th through the 28th. So good time to get out of some cold areas of the world, wherever you're at. and come down to Florida. I was talking with somebody earlier today who's excited to be a part of it. And, I'm not going to announce their name yet. No, I have not talked to Mike Zeck yet. But I did talk with Chuck Costas about it, and he said that Gerhard's very interested in doing it. So Gerhard is a definite possibility, but I haven't talked to Gerhard myself yet about it. So yeah, I mean, hoping a Kubert Isle and an Andy Emma also show up. Yeah. Well, we'll see. I can guarantee Adam. Adam is definitely in. Bill, I'm just selling tickets. Just say. Anyway, so there you go, Tim. Tim says it's near his birthday. So Tim, you got to make it a birthday present for yourself to come out. Will there be rides that go into the lake? Only if Aranga is in charge of those rides. And it will be a lot warmer than in Ontario. So anyways, yeah, are there other artists confirmed? Yes. There's at least another 15 confirmed already, but I'm going to meter it out a little bit. Some of those things, I'd like to do in, in chats and getting people to do some conversations and interviews with me, and then we can talk about it. So if Gerhard still, yes. Anyways, let me see. Let me show you the schedule. I'll just hop around a little bit on that because it is about as packed as I could possibly make a schedule at this point. What do we got coming up? I've got Comic Connect next week. After that, I've got Joe Staten, George Pratt back to back on interviews on a Monday and a Tuesday. I've got a Kevin Nolan art sale. Jeff Mart's art team will be with me on the 12th. That is a Monday. We'll be doing an art sale with them. Alex Winter on the 13th. And of course, Heroes is coming up. That's the 15th through the 18th of June. As everybody knows, on the 15th, we'll be at the Abari bar in Charlotte, and we're gonna have a lot of fun there, and hopefully many of you will be there. I know many of you will be there. It's going to be a good time. We did it last year. It was a great way to kind of kick off the weekend. I've been George Hodge hasn't given me like the start time of it yet, but I think that they open the place at 5 on that Thursday. I know they have food there that's available. I don't, but we'll have all that information, I hope, by next week, so I can give everybody all the details on that. I haven't worked out whether or not I'm going to be able to have that panel on Friday at the end of the day, but I'm going to try. If so, then what we'll probably do is a group photo at the end of my panel on Friday, because it looks like Saturday is going to be pretty busy, just because there's some things going on offsite where I don't think many of us will probably be there after 4 or 5. So the thing, so I don't want to do my panel on Saturday. So we'll see how that all works out. But interestingly, everybody should be aware of this. If you're going to Heroes, the Marvel exhibit is in Charlotte right now, and it just opened, I think, a week or two ago, and it's there throughout the entire summer. So if you haven't seen the Marvel exhibit and all that amazing artwork, I would encourage you to figure out how you can make your way over to the Marvel exhibit as part of your trip to Heroes this year. Check out the hours. I think it's called the Discovery Place. Maybe I might be wrong on that, but but it's there. I mean, I might even try to swing by there on Sunday on my way out if I can. Berkey is going to be there. He is because he has art. The only reason he's going to Heroes this year is because he has art at the Marvel exhibit, and they're whenever you have art at the Marvel exhibit, they, no matter whatever city it goes to, they pay for a flight and a hotel for you and a friend. So that I didn't know that. I found that out last night. That's why Mike is going. He's just going, he's going to go to the Marvel exhibit, and he'll go to Heroes as well. Bill, did you see the show about last? I'm not sure. Oh, Peter, yes, you sent me that link. I'm sorry I never replied to you. I didn't watch the whole interview. I watched your part, and who else was in there? Derek Crabb was interviewed in that same interview. Yes, I did. It was a good interview. I thought that was fun. I think I actually saw that booth while I was there. But at any rate, I'll be at Heroes. Many of you will be at Heroes. Just remember, Thursday evening is the big party at the Abari bar. Just we'll talk more about it the next 2 or 3 weeks leading up to the show, just so that everybody is aware of it. And I hope everybody turns out. Anthony is going to have lots of art there. I can guarantee it. Anthony will be set up. So then I've just got all the usual stuff. Somebody just asked about Bill Reinhold. You know, I told Bill Reinhold I was happy to do an interview art sale, and he said just interview for now. So that interview on the 26th with Bill Reinhold will just be an interview, no art sale, unfortunately. On the 26th, the day before that, I'll have Bill Morrison on. That won't be an art sale either, but as you know, Bill's a huge collector of original art, and so I asked him if we could do a collector interview, not just a artist interview. So no art for sale with that one either. But as you can see, everything in red is an art sale. So I've got art sales out the wazoo coming up here. I do have another interview that I just lined up with Dan Jurgens on the 15th of August. That is a Tuesday night, and Amanda Connor. Jimmy emailed me right before the show, let me know that something has come up on that September 2nd date with Amanda. So we're going to move her art sale probably to one of the weekends after that one. So the second was a Saturday, so just plan on it being one of the other Saturdays in September. So yeah, that was, we're still far enough out. Fortunately, it turns out they got invited to a show, so they have to swing it to another date. Jason says, delay Nolan, I'm broke now. Well, yeah, I can't do that because it's been on the schedule for more than a couple months. I'm supposedly going to be getting Kevin's art, I think, by this time next week too. I'm excited. Once I get the art, he and I are going to talk about pricing it and everything. So I have no idea what I'm going to get. I think it's going to be mostly, characters, commission style pieces, but I could be wrong. I really don't know. I won't know until I get the package. Speaking of a package, I got a package addressed to, it was addressed to me, but I think this is for Gwen. She's not here right now, so I'm just going to open it for her since, we all want to see what's inside of it. I could be wrong, but this is from Anthony to Gwen. I forget when. I think it was the Dueling Dealers show last week. And whenever we're doing the Dueling Dealers, Gwen and Maureen are always shopping on Anthony's website. I have no idea why, but they do. And so that was so I think after the show, Gwen came in she sent me an email and then came in when she gave me the score sheets and told Anthony what she wanted. And so I'm assuming that's what this is. And it is. So let's see. What do we got? Some Greg Land and Jay Leiston Iron Man artwork. What we got here? 3 pages. Were they consecutive? Yeah, they were. So we got a page 9. She likes Spider-Gwen, as we all know, but she is also a huge Tony Stark Iron Man fan. So there is a page 9. This is Iron Man 14. Then we've got page 10. So that's going to make Gwen happy. And then, look at that, page 11. So there we go. So Gwen is very, very happy. Oh, Gwen's watching right now. So there you go, Gwen. I did open it. Yay. All right. Nice pages, Gwen. Although I think your portfolio is full. He didn't send us a free portfolio with this one. So we're going to have to, I think, get you another portfolio. But congrats, Gwen. These are great. And I don't think you have any other Iron Man art. So this is your first. And it's all published. It's very nice. Actually, and this is a great one. This first page, it's got some pencil, looks like still left on there, and a little bit of Coptic marker, maybe, as Anthony likes to call it. But yes, congrats, Gwen. All right. Well, and that's the only package I have to open tonight, too. Surprise, surprise, surprise. It is what it is. Oh man. All right. So I can scratch the package off of there as well. So what do we got left? We've got a few other things to do before we get to the CAF update. Now, first up, Adam has made another dramatic reading for us. And this is a shorter one than usual because I don't think there was a lot of dialogue on this particular page. But Adam's kind of worked his magic, and he's put his own spin on something that we've done on the Dueling Dealers a few times. And it's different. And I still have to say, I am so disappointed in myself because I have not done a dramatic reading yet. I really wanted to get the whole family involved and do something fun. And I have yet to take the time to do a dramatic reading of my own. But I will still say, I promise I'm going to do one. I have enough pieces here that I should have done one a long time ago. I bet Bill would let her go preview for free, says Chris. Yes, I would. Yeah, she'd get the 3-month version. All right, you got it, Carlos. So without further ado, let me show Adam's new dramatic reading. And here we go.
Time after time, the jealous seizing on their better, their master, a monster, their conqueror. They all betray me because in the end, there can be only MODOK. For MODOK has no equals, no allies, no friends.
A few moments later.
It's a kid? The Red Skull is nothing more than a kid? The sun rim dips. The stars rush out. At one stride comes the dark.
A few moments later.
Oh man, how do I get out of focus again? Oh, come on! Why does this stupid thing? I gotta invest. There we go. I gotta invest in a better camera. That's the long and the short of it. What is Anthony? Is Anthony selling artwork in the chat? What is going on in there? Kaiser says he always thought MODOK talked like Christopher Walken. I can hear that. I can definitely hear that. What are you and Marcus negotiating in the chat, Anthony? Somehow I missed out on whatever this is. Maybe I don't want to know. On the MTU page. I see. All right, I remember that page. All right, but yes, another fine reading, Adam. Thank you so much for doing that. They've been awesome, and yes, well done, Dino. Dino's done one. So Dino, yeah, I mean that's why it is on me to do one now, and I liked the idea that Jason had about doing it for that Cockrum page. That would be a fun one to do it. I could definitely involve Gwen, and maybe even Emma with that one. So we'll see. But yeah, I like that. I'm gonna make a note of that. Cockrum page is good. Let's see. He talks like Yellow Jacket. How would you guys know? Is this like when you read a comic book, do you literally put yourself in the character so much that okay. I mean, I probably do too. I probably do. Every time I read anything about, when Colossus says something, I put a little Russian accent on it. But and Cyclops is always like Clint Eastwood to me. So, we all know that though. Anyway, so I feel like I missed a couple other questions out there, but I apologize. We've been rolling along here. I didn't highlight enough as we've rolled through this, but I felt there was something I missed. But anyways, probably something related to OAX. We'll probably talk more about that next week, and we will talk more about that next week because the site will launch. It'll probably launch. Honestly, it'll probably launch right before we do this show too, because then we can just talk about it, and I can, give you all the references and links and things that we have. Cyclops talks like Michael Cera. Come on. That would be a funny version of Cyclops. I'll give you that. But I don't think Michael Cera, can carry Cyclops jock. So anyway, I know Mega Cox is something that everybody just has a lot of affinity for. I don't know what to tell you about it, but I do hope that some people wear, they come up with their own version of a Mega Cox shirt and wear it to the OAX show. I dare you. I dare you. I'll take selfies with every one of you. So let's see. Adam said that he researched all the voice actors who have done MODOK, and that was the voice that came out. Well, that's good. You gotta like know all the possibilities and then roll it out. Oh boy, you guys. Be careful what I wish for, Steve Mussolino. I get it, man. I get it. I'm daring everybody to try it because we'll all get a good laugh out of it. Anyway, so let's see. I'm trying to think. I think we can jump right into the CAF update now, although I don't have my screen shared properly and everything, but we're probably in a good shape to do it. Jace, you guys, Bill. Yeah, full Thor pillows, kind of like that Kurt Swan Superman that Anthony has hanging around over at the warehouse, right? Something along those lines. But no, we're not selling anything like that at our show. But that's an interesting thought, though. Very, very interesting thought. The EXP promo, man. Yeah, you're right. I'm I didn't even write it down. I got Heritage and EXP, and then the CAF update. So we've got things to do, and I can do these rather quick because my Heritage picks were they were. It's I'll be honest. This is if you go and look at what's up on Heritage, you're gonna and you thought that you had to pick 10 pieces, I think you would have a hard time doing it too. I don't know why. It was weird. If you look at the pieces that Heritage pulled for this week, it's just not. It's not what I was expecting. So I would think everybody else would probably feel the same way. So let me switch screens on here and get this one over here shared. Here we go. And I'll just be honest, why it's like a shift in the way I think. I have begun to start thinking of the Heritage stuff as part of my CAF update because I include it in every darn Thursday emailing that I do. And it's just messing with my head, which is why I get to that point and I'm like, I feel like, I'm always putting one thing ahead of the other. At any rate, here we go. We can take a look at my 10 pieces rather quickly. But again, I would dare any of you to go to Heritage and look at the, I think there's like 196 pieces in this week's auction. You'd probably pick the same ones I did. So first up, we have an X Factor 51 cover. Not too bad. This one is penciled by Terry Schumacher, inked by Al Milgram. So I'm sure this was from Al. But, you got a nice Archangel image there and signed by Schumacher with a big smiley face. So it's kind of like a Watchmen cover almost, right? But not too bad. But, again, this is probably the big ticket item we'll see for next week as far as price goes, or end price goes. Then a Brian Hitch Thor cover with no Thor on it. It's a variant cover from 2018. And it's got the FF all over it with and the thing's missing, Snork. I don't know what's going on here, but there you go. She-Hulk instead of the Thing on a Thor cover. So, yep. How often is that going to happen? No Cyclops. I don't know. I don't think I have any Cyclops in this thing. We'll see. This might be the gem of the whole auction. I'll be honest with you. I love this piece. It is a vintage Brunner Doctor Strange convention sketch, right? I mean, look at this thing. This is absolutely gorgeous. I want it. I mean, this is from 1978, fully inked. I mean, look at this thing. This is about as good as you are probably ever going to see for a piece like this. I mean, when have you seen a better Frank Brunner, sketch of or commission of Doctor Strange or anybody? I mean, this is just awesome. I'd like to think that this thing is going to do really, really well. And where is it at? $575 right now. It should be $2,500. That's that. If it doesn't hit that, I'll be disappointed. You can bid for me if yeah. But it is great. And then this one I picked, again, it's slim pickings this week. It really is. But David Mattingly, I see his stuff all the time in the Heritage weekly auctions. He's just a solid painter. He did a lot of paperback covers in the 70s, 80s, I think early 90s. I don't think we see a lot of his stuff out there. I don't know a lot about him, but just a nice painted piece. And look, it's got a cat in it. I mean, come on, for all the cat lovers out there, this is good. And it's got like kind of an ancient Rome feel to it, but good, cool spaceship, nicely painted piece, and affordable art. Next, another one of this. I mean, I'm not familiar with Time Spirits, but Tom Yates. This thing is, this might be my second favorite piece after the Brunner Doctor Strange. I mean, check out, this whole piece. I mean, I don't know this like ghost-like character in here, but I love the ink work in this thing. Again, I have no idea what Time Spirits is. It was a Marvel / Epic book. This is from issue 2, but the panel layout on this thing is phenomenal. I mean, look at this. Look at this bottom piece here with all the mean, it's just so cool the way he did that. So I love this page. This one, I don't even know anything about it. It's $115, but this after the Brunner is to me the best pieces in the auction, isn't it? It's fantastic. It's okay. It's an epic series. Yeah, I'm not familiar with it at all, but this page is, I mean, it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. I love this thing. It is nice. Thank you, Peter. I mean, again, you know good art when you see it. This is definitely one of them. Then, I mean, see, I'm reaching here. I mean, I'm actually not a Space Ghost fan, but this is an Ariel Olivetti Space Ghost cover. So I thought that at least was noteworthy. You know, the thing is, what you'll find is there's a lot of strip art in this weekly auction, but a lot of it was from strips that I didn't even know the name, you know, even the titles from. Wasn't familiar with them at all. So speaking of a piece of strip art, I had to pick this Al Williamson Secret Agent Corrigan from '68. Holy smokes, it's 2 days before I was born. I should almost try to own that one. But wait a minute, it actually says 418. Didn't it say 416? No, it says 418. Holy shit, this is on the, oh my God. Sorry, didn't mean to swear. This is on my birthday, for crying out loud. I mean, literally my birthday in 1968. Wow, that is, that's totally weird. All right, I'm going to be bidding on this one, everybody. I'm just telling you right now. How weird is that? I did not even look at the date. At any rate, it's an Al Williamson Secret Agent Corrigan strip, and you know everything that you'd want. I mean, I always talk about it. I mean, Williamson can do no wrong. I mean, the shadows in this first piece, the panel, you know, this the second panel, awesome. Third panel, I mean, it's all great, and it's on my literal. I know. I mean, how could I not go for it? That's so ironic, man. That is. All right, that was. I'm taking this tab out of here because I usually close the whole damn window and lose them all. So I'm taking that tab off because I do have to bid on it now. 3 more to go here. Eric Larson Hulk sketch. I mean, how often, you know, everybody, you know, would want a Savage Dragon. I know that's what everybody would want, but you know, there's a lot of well, there's not enough good Eric Larson convention sketch stuff out there that, as far as I'm concerned. And here you get a nice Hulk. So you can see I'm grasping here for stuff because there's just not a lot of great stuff in this current one. But again, this is a cool piece. If you're a Larson fan and you're a Hulk fan, this is a piece for you. Bid $55 right now. I don't even know what it's at. It's at $202 right now. All right, so another at Thor. Look, I got a Thor page here. It was Kupperberg and Mooney. You know, I can't go wrong. I mean, this is from issue 325, so mediocre stories, I think, during that period. I still love Thor no matter what at that point. But you get Mephisto, I think, in a couple panels here. Yep. And Thor. And I actually do like the inking in here. Mooney's inks on this one. Nice, solid. I love all the, when you look at it as a whole, just the paint and the shadows. That's what it's all about inside this cave, right? So it's, even though it's, yeah, I kind of like the 6 panels too. I mean, now that I'm looking at it, it's not bad. It's a good page. It's why I picked it. Better for dueling dealers. Okay. And then lastly, a piece by Danny. I mean, you know, there's not a lot of Danny's artwork out there that hits the market too often. Love their style. And, you know, again, I think, you know, there's a lot of Topi in this, right? Topi. I always get that wrong, I'm sure. But I like this page a lot. And the money shot there. There's some haunches, I think, as Anthony would say, right? But yeah, nice page all around. And Danny, how often do we see Danny artwork anywhere? So there you go. We've broken 70 likes for the night too. That's always a positive. Thank you, everyone. If you can, hit thumbs up. Give me a like, and likes are free. You can do that when you're watching on the rewind too, everybody. And you know. I won't go on and on. You know, I'm terrible at marketing. Tim says he can't wait for the Heritage previews for the next 2 weeks. Why is that? Oh, all right. Anyway, all right. Keep it moving. It's hurting. Yeah, I know it's Heritage. Whatever. Anthony, no complaining about Heritage on Wednesday nights. So, all right. well, here we go. I've got the EXP preview video for you. While that's playing, I'm going to put my bid in on this auction, and we'll see if I can get it. But we got the EXP preview, and tomorrow night, 7:00, you've got Nick Brucci on the Original Art Experience for an hour and 15 minutes. He goes from 7 to 8:15 every single week, and you get art for sale, fun conversation. You see a lot of familiar faces in the chat over there. It's a a good time spent. If you're free on a Friday night, it's definitely the place for us to hang out. And I've got the preview for what Nick is bringing tomorrow night right now, and you can watch it too.
Hey everybody, this Friday, May 26th, 7 p.m. Eastern, on the Original Art Experience. We're going to have a fun little show. Won't be our normal hour. It'll be a little bit smaller. We're going to talk about CAFCON Live that just happened this past weekend. I'm going to show a few pieces that I got. We're going to do a few giveaways. There will be a contest or two, so we're going to do a few giveaways while we're at it. And I'm going to have some special guests. Before I present my special guests, let me just show, these are the pieces, 4 of the pieces I got during CAFCON Live. I have a few more pieces coming in, but I thought that these were really cool to showcase. Finally, after many, many years, Daredevil Man Without Fear by John Romita Jr. and Al Williamson, Brian Bolin, Camelot 3000. I'm a huge anniversary person, so a Thor 200 page. And Dino just had this gorgeous Steve Butler pinup from 1996. So, not only are we going to have the show, not only are we going to have giveaways, but I got some special guests. Are you ready? Are you kidding me? Mike Berkey will be on the air with me. And let me tell you, it'll be a doozy, okay? Then we've got the Dino Falcon on the air, and he will be one and done, okay? Then we're going to have a little bit of I Say Thee Nay, and whoa, Walworthy, God, does not want to turn around, with Bill Cox on the air. Then we have Moidoc, Next, and Wet Cheap. So, since I'm not selling anything, I don't know that anything will go cheap. Ow, the free giveaways. All right, then we're going to have winners. Winner, everybody's a winner, but some people get outbid. Then we're going to have strong price, great buy, and of course Nick Barucci will be there with Fell Through the Cracks, and this is the Jewel Auction highlight. So, this Friday, May 26th, 7 p.m. Eastern, the Original Art Experience. I'm moving my hands because people pay attention more to videos when you're moving your hands, and I'm making Amy seasick. So see you Friday at 7, or you'll see me, and hit that thumbs up and share. Sharing is caring.
Yes, sharing is caring. That is very, very true. And hey, look at this. Where is it? I am the high bidder on it now, 210. So I'm a man of my word. I've got my bid in there. So it's okay if you want to bid against me. I won't hold it against you, but I am going for it. So we'll see. I don't know what they go for. I really don't know the market at all. But yes, so we'll see how that turns out next week. You will be the first to know, I guarantee you. So all right, now we can get on with the CAF update as we've come to know it. And I still feel like I'm forgetting something in the chat. I don't know what that is. It's going to nag at me for the rest of the night. As soon as the show's over, I'm going to remember the question that was asked, but we'll address it next week. So CAF update, boy, thank God for Comic Art Live and its $1.1 million last week. The dealers, well, I mean, the dealers were selling at the show too. I know Mike had what did Mike? He sold 7 or 9 of those Masaferas. Anthony sold some artwork during the show too. But dealers last week, and this is of course the period of May 15th through the 21st, $157,000 recorded, and that's down from $176,000 the week before. How is that even possible? I mean, it's just not possible. So I don't have an answer for it. So I wish I did. I mean, Scott Eater's still traveling. I mean, maybe Albert Moy, is he still in Italy? I don't know where these guys are, but did I not send you a link, Chris? I swear I sent you a link earlier when I replied to the Brothers from Another Mother. Did I not send that? Let me see. I swear I did. I know I typed it out. I said something like I thought I replied to you. Look at it was at 6:18 p.m. Maybe it went in your spam. That brothers from another mother comment got me spammed on you. I can always resend it. Just let me know. Yeah, that was you. Yes, because I replied to your email. You replied to the Calf Thursday email, and then I replied to that. So anyways, back over to the conversation about dealer sales. Dealer sales down. I mean, I'd say by and large, I think we've all gotten used to it being around 350. So to see it at 157 is mind-boggling. Anthony won the day. 88 sales, $43,000. Scott Eater, while still in Italy, had 7 sales and $31,000. Probably because he's maybe it's his Como sales actually. Panel Page, 2 sales, $19,000. Berkey, 22 sales, $16,000. Quan, wasn't he in Italy too? 5 sales, $12,000. And Albert Moy, 4 sales, $10,000. So, I mean, just I don't know where things are going. I guess we're going to have to pay attention to, I don't know, the next few months. It's just weird not seeing, or we've had so many consecutive sub $200,000 sales weeks. We have never seen anything like that before. So let's go ahead and take a look at the top 6 sales from dealers from that week. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, nope, I'm ready. All right, here we go. So first up, fooled you. There it is, that 157 and 84. It's terrible. So number 1 selling item was this Sal Buscema Barry Windsor Smith Conan number 11 page. Nicely done. Price on this one was $16,500. Sold by Glenn. Then next up, Mineshaft. I bet you a lot of you don't know what Mineshaft is, but this one was sold from Scott Eater. $10,000 on this one, and it was the cover to issue 31. Then sold by Anthony on the Dueling Dealers of Comic Art, if I recall correctly, for $8,250. This is Superman's Girlfriend, Lois Lane, 128, complete 7 or 8 page story. Then we've got another piece of eclectic art by Chris Ware, Building Stories from 2012, and this one sold for $7,000 from Scott Eater. Totally cool. Don't see enough of Chris's work out there, of course. Then another one from Scott, this S. Clay Wilson Checkered Demon piece from 1977, sold for $6,000. And Scott again. This is from something called Dirty Platt, or Platt. I guess I can't read my own handwriting. A Monkey and the Living Dead, Part 5, Page 2, and by Julie Doucette. Hopefully I got that right. For $4,000. So congrats to Scott. I mean, Scott solidly had 7 sales, $31,000. That's I don't think he's ever finished that high on the list before. So that's always a good thing. Now, next we've got the auction houses. Sorry, sliding around here. So auction houses didn't do very well either last week, and eBay did probably its worst that it's has ever done. But as I've been telling you, they've got this stupid error on their site, and I don't think they've fixed it yet. So it doesn't surprise me that they're still having problems. But last week, $271,000 in sales between eBay and Heritage. But eBay only hit $92,000 with the other 141 going to Heritage. But the 271 is down from 364, which is more like our average. So it's a down week across the board. I think when Collins' report came out, did it hit 4? Yeah, it did hit 400. It was like 412,000 was the combined dealer and auction sales for that week. It's that's crazy, and you can't blame that on Comic Art Live. I mean, it's not Comic Art Live, but either way, like I said, thank goodness we had Comic Art Live, or last week would have been a disaster for most people. So let me go ahead and show the top 3 eBay and then the top 3 Heritage lots from last week. Look at this one. We saw it. Now, of course, the price is going to be wrong, and I didn't go check to see the make offer on this one, darn it. But this one was listed at $4,500. The cover to Uncanny X-Men 32. Then, next up, we've got the first of 2 Todd McFarlanes we're going to see in this little slideshow here. Todd McFarlane, Incredible Hulk, page from issue 330, sold for $1,995. No Hulk on it. That's why it was that low. Then Adriana Mello, this is Why did my son do it? They should have done it where he's sliding it left and right. But anyways, this is from Tales of the Sinestro Corpse, pages 17 through 19, sold for $1,500. Then, now we knew this was going to go high, and it did very well. John Buscema Essential Silver Surfer back cover sold for $22,800, and I'd say it's worth every penny. Then we've got Mike Manley, Danny Bulanandi, Quasar 7 cover sold for $7,800. Got Spidey on it. Very nice. How did I not pick that one last week? And then finally, the other Todd McFarlane. This is entitled Perils of Pride. Wolverine slicing and dicing Kitty Pryde in this one. This is part of like a sketchbook that Todd did before he started working for Marvel, and that one went for $6,300. So not too shabby. I mean, I didn't pick either of those last two, and they both ended up top. Posted on CAF today. Which one? I guess I missed that, Marcus. You are the ever observant one, Marcus. You are like the watcher. See, now if we ever did a watcher meme, it should be you. We should put your head right on him. But anyway, so yes, we can add the 1.1 million from Comic Card Live to that, and then it sounds a little bit better. So the Todd father strikes again, says Scott Wingo. Yes. Oh, so the Todd page, the Hulk. Okay, cool. It wasn't a bad page, but no Hulk on it is obviously what kept the price down on that one. So, and it was kind of cool was seeing those pieces that Nick had picked up too in that little video clip. I wanted to mention that afterwards. It's a lot of people have been getting their artwork from Comic Art Live. Who sent me I was emailing with Josh. He picked up something from Dino, and he had sent me. He sent me the scan. I mean, I knew which one it was. I knew it immediately that it was one of Dino's that sold. So it's cool. It's who would have thought? Josh Nathanson is actually searching the halls of Comic Art Live to buy artwork as well, and he got one of the pricier pieces. So that was pretty slick. Nice to see that. But anyways, hey, my brother from another mother is in the green room right now, Mr. Chris Nork. I can't leave him in there any longer. Hey. Are you
Did I freeze?
Did I freeze?
Oh, I thought I froze for a second. Sorry. I'm doing well. Thank you. How about you?
Not too bad. Not too bad. I mean, the 2 days off definitely helped. And after this, I've got 3 days off. So I think I'm going to be really well rested by next week. So that's a good thing. But working out the OAX stuff, I think, is probably what I'll be focused on. But it won't feel like work. That's the main thing.
Well, that's how you know you're doing it right?
Yes, exactly. You've got that right. So, holy smokes, we're only at the 2 hour mark. The things are flying by tonight. This is great. So we're not going to feel like we're pressured on talking about the artwork. But wasn't that weird that Agent Corrigan to be on the date of my birth?
Well, it's a wild. I mean, obviously they made an Agent Corrigan that day, but I mean, for it to pop up and for you to pick it, it's kind of kismet. You got to get that.
That is so. I mean, trust me, that was totally. I didn't look at it at all. I was, and that was one I think I threw in at the end because I'm like, shit, I don't like any of this art. I mean, I hate to say that there just wasn't any like great, obvious choices out there. So I'm like, all right,
yeah.
I passed it up the first time because I'm like, well, I picked a Corrigan like 1 or 2 weeks ago, so I didn't want to do it again. And then I'm like, well, I don't have a choice. Throw it in there, and then lo and behold, so, it is a secret. All right, so we're just going to dive into this because we've got 20 good pieces to talk about. I did pick 2 of my picks are from the same collector. I hate to say it, but they work because I liked them. So.
I did it by mistake last week, so.
All right. Well, I did it intentionally. So let me.
Everybody in the chat always says like, "Don't worry about it. Pick the best stuff. Pick what you love." So.
Well, that is what we did here, and I did. I like this piece a lot. This I know that it was funny because I was emailing with the person who sold this to Robert, and I was like, "Yeah, that's a really nice piece. I'm sure Robert's going to be very happy with it." I mean, look at this. I love. I mean, who didn't love the artwork in that Black Widow miniseries? J.G. Jones was just killing it. The covers were incredible. Yeah. The interiors were incredible. This is a beautiful piece.
Well, in the grand scheme of things, he hasn't been like super prolific. I mean, I know he's had health issues and things like that in the last few years, but they're just, I mean, it was sadly isn't a ton of JG Jones, especially interior stuff out there. I mean, he's, you know, a pretty prolific cover artist, but yeah, I
Right.
think that's really what makes this so special, because clearly he like lavished a lot of attention on every one of these pages. And like, even if you compare this to Marvel Boy, this looks like this looks more intense. Like he spent more time on all of it. So yeah, it's a beautiful page. The total inks are really the highlight here for me.
Yeah, even like his work from Wanted, which I really liked a
Mhm.
lot. I mean, again, the attention to detail on the Black Widow artwork was just, you know, some of this is best stuff as far as I'm concerned. So this
Yeah.
is gorgeous. I'm sure Robert was doing cartwheels when he got this one. You know?
This, I mean, and is, I guess if you look at it from like the MCU perspective, this is also a pretty important miniseries now if you're a, you know, comic collector as well.
That is true. That is very true, actually. Yeah. And Colin mentions, and I think I saw this too, that JG Jones is doing a convention in Philadelphia next week. So hopefully he's feeling better. Yeah, here. That's true. I remember seeing him on the list too. Thanks for the reminder on that, Colin.
Cool, yeah.
Yeah, but no, this is, I mean, yeah, it's fantastic. I mean, I was going to pick this one if you didn't, so I'm glad that you got it, and congrats to Robert on that one.
It's a beauty.
It definitely is. All right, so next piece. This is let me get this over here. So this is in the collection of Luke Guillemot.
So Luke, I think I'm gathering is a European collector, posted a ton of sketches, convention pieces, things like that this week. And this is a major league standout in my mind. I mean, this is cover quality. And I think this was a con convention commission. I love Parlov so much. You know, he's one of those artists that does so much with so little. I mean, the blocking that he's done here, like the way he put those blacks in the background to highlight, you know, the central figure. You know, I love the kind of expressionistic posing that he does. You know, the way that he puts the figure in there that's like really minimalistic but so expressive. There isn't enough for me to say about Parlov. He's a top 10 artist of all time for me.
No, I agree. This is it's beautiful. I mean, it really is. I feel like I didn't see a lot of the stuff that Luke posted this week, but I guess I'm gonna have to dive back in and check it out. But this is a great one. I know you've picked a few Parlov pieces before, but deservedly so. And it's just, I love the style. I think the composition on this thing is I mean, if this was something done at a convention as a commission, you know, I'm blown away. I mean, that the effort put into this thing is unbelievable.
You'd be skipping through the aisles with this thing in your portfolio, I think.
Yes, exactly. But yeah, the level of I mean, I'm looking at it, it's just amazing. You know, like you said, he does a lot with so little, and just in the detail of the jacket, things like that. I mean, you look at it. I look at it now, and it's just like it's so simple, but so well done. Wow. Yeah,
Well,
that's a
and
great pick.
he's so clever where he chooses to put detail too. Like if he wants to draw your eye to the figure, and so the background falls into the background, right? That box is like, it's there, but it's like suggested. It's not like he didn't dial in that box, right? But then the Punisher is like everything you would want it to be in a central figure.
Yeah. Nope. I love it. Now, what do we got on this one? This is Daniel Warren Johnson in the collection of Yokuri.
I haven't picked anything from DWJ in a minute, and I thought this was worthy of kind of breaking the slump, because this has pretty much everything you could want from a Daniel Warren Johnson interior page in it. You know, not to mention it's doubly cool, I think, that it's from a creator-owned property of his. But yeah, it's just everything that we always say about Daniel Warren Johnson, right? It's the motion, it's the, you know, the kinetic nature of like all the figures, how expressive everyone is. Like look at the characters in the bottom panel, and like there's so much emotion there, like, and he's, you know, clearly like drained, and then, you know, like taking nothing from the fact that in that middle panel, like Murder Falcon's doing some real damage. And how do you effectively illustrate, if you scroll back to the top, how do you effectively illustrate somebody like playing a guitar solo?
Right.
But he does it, and it's really cool.
It is. No, I mean this is great. You know, and it's funny. I never really noticed that. You know, the with the lettering on the page and everything too. I mean, this is. I'm glad you picked this page. I saw it too, and I'm like, we can't pick any more Daniel Warren Johnson. Because we picked so many commissions over time. So the thing is, it's great. It's a published piece. It's creator owned, and it's got more of what you love about Daniel Warren Johnson wedged into this thing. I mean, it's phenomenal. Gosh, I mean, and you look at it, I mean, the perspective on this piece, you know, you might think that Murder Falcon's, you know, on a level plane, but you know, it's like, no, I mean, it's just crazy. The way he's done this whole page is just unbelievable. And then you end it with this static shot like that. It's just great.
Yeah. And watching him draw his like slavish devotion to perspective is incredible. Like if you ever have a chance to watch him draw on like Friday with D-Dubs on his YouTube channel, the grids, I mean, like he really goes there with the perspective. And I think that's one of the things that, like, in spite of how insane his style is, one of the things that really grounds it as like great illustration is that, you know, like he's really keen to make sure everything is not, you know, it's not floating. It doesn't look weird, like in comparison to like a background element or a foreground element or, you know, whatever.
Right. No, this is it's a good pick. And Yo Curry, if you haven't checked out Yo Curry's calf gallery in a while or ever, you definitely need to. And I should remind everybody, the link to this the overall market report or the calf update that has everything in it. We link to every piece of art that we talk about. That is linked in the show description on YouTube and Facebook. So you can follow along with us, or if you're watching later, click the link down there. You go back to calf. That one whole page will have links to all of the picks that we do, also to the eBay and heritage picks that I do too. So all that stuff is in there if you really want to kind of follow along with the things that we talk about on the show. Now, this one here, Tom Coker, he scored. I picked this one and then you stole it from me. You liked it so much you had to take it from me.
I didn't see the show graphic. I actually thought like, oh, cool, Bill picked the Nexus cover as the show graphic. But it was the opposite.
It was, but it's okay, man, because I mean, either way, there's so much to love about this piece.
Yeah, this like period of Rude, I think, is so special, and like even from a technique standpoint, it's a real moment in time because, you know, this is definitely got airbrush on it, you know, stuff like that, technique that a lot of technique and tools that a lot of artists don't know how to use anymore because they don't really have any use for it. Mm-hmm. So, you know, for me, like that's always cool to see because it's a little bit nostalgic for like, you know, this certainly he's advanced since like the, you know, the Badger and Nexus days, but this like harkens back to that era of his work.
It's it is kind of like Cyclops, if you want to say that. but no, I love this piece. I love the color choices, everything about it. I mean, it's just a beautifully painted piece by Steve Rude. And I mean, you know, and I wasn't a big Nexus fan, but you know, you see something like this and you just I want to go read it again. And I'd love to own something like this by him because this is just great. You know, when we did that show with him, that was the only thing I lamented was he didn't bring any Nexus pieces. You know, it's like if he would have drawn, he could have drawn 20 Nexus, pieces, and they would have all sold. You know what I mean? Because everybody would have loved to have gotten a color piece by him. But you're right. I mean, this is perfect period. I mean, what was the year on this? 05.
You guys think this is oil? You think there's no airbrush on this? I challenge that assertion.
Yeah, it's hard to tell. I mean, it looks very painted, but I can't.
Oh, yeah, obviously it's painted. I mean, maybe.
Rich Danny's, he's the artist. Maybe gouache. I don't know. It's hard to say. But either way,
it's got a gouache, like particularly the blue's got a gouache look to it.
Yeah. Well, again, gorgeous piece, and congrats to Mr. Coker for adding this one to his calf because that's a winner. To me, that was the piece that won the week in a lot of ways for me. Let's see. Dude paints. I've never seen him airbrush. All right. Well, Rich, we trust you, Rich.
Okay.
All right, next up, I know this was a piece of Star Wars art, Cam Kennedy Star Wars art. Let's go take a look at that. Wow.
You don't see a lot of well, I mean, there isn't a ton of Cam Kennedy like US artwork out there in the first place, but he did a ton of this awesome stuff for Dark Horse on Star Wars back in the day, and a lot of it was painted. This clearly isn't, which is the reason that I picked it, because I think, you know, his inks, like this is special. Like this is so cool. I love how, so like the contour line stuff that's going on in here is so like clearly Cam Kennedy. It has that like European or like British comics feel to it too, which I think is cool and surprisingly effective on Boba Fett. I don't know if it's, you know, that whole like Rogue Trooper, Judge Dredd type thing where they love drawing guys with helmets and all that kind of stuff. But man, this is so cool. And I agree with Samuel. Like Cam is like maybe for me the Star Wars artist.
Yeah, no, I mean, this is, you know, Cam was perfect for this. I mean, his style, and like you said, it could be from his 2000 AD days, but yeah, no, this is a beautiful page, and I really love this first panel. This thing is, that's like a finished work of art all by itself.
I was thinking the same thing. It's like a little, like a microcosm unto itself.
Yeah, that's interesting, but yeah, I mean, it's gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. Yeah, no, I like Cam's style a lot. His stuff is fantastic. Yeah, that first panel is amazing. So, all right, everybody's yelling, no airbrush. We get it, Marcus. Thank you. But yes, Cam is very good. And who's got? Oh, says Scott M. Of course. Scott M's got a great look at that. Scott has been on CAF for a very long time, everybody. He has been on there since September 2003. He's a first-year member of the site. Wow.
Coming up on 20 years.
What's his number? 201. That's pretty low. That's thank you to Scott for being a member of the site for so long. Still hanging with it. So Dan Poddick is on this one here. Ed Hannigan and Joe Rubenstein, Marvel Universe cover.
You know, this artistically like didn't do a lot for me. This is a nostalgia pick. Like this is probably what hooked me on comics, was Official Handbook of the Marvel Universe, because I just thought like every page was being exposed to like a new character and like, oh my God, look at this guy's costume, and like, oh, what a cool name, and you know, that kind of stuff. And like, you really, you know, you think like a character like Stingray or something is like a real badass when you're looking at Official Handbook of the Marvel Universe.
Right.
So
right.
This is how this was my education in Marvel. I went from Secret Wars to this. And so when I see these covers, when I see the interiors, this is just, you know, takes me back.
Yeah, this is nice, and I'm sure Dan was very happy to add this to his collection. And I love, I mean, Hannigan's always been like I just love his stuff, and so it's not so bad. But like you, I picked all these up. I mean, they were just so cool. The covers were awesome,
and thick. I mean, they were, you know, there's a ton of material in there.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, as a Marvel fan, you couldn't avoid them. You had to own them. So no, this is slick. I mean, I'm happy for Dan to have picked this up. Did he put any notes in there? Another cover entry from Marvel's original encyclopedia. Hannigan's posing is as dynamic as ever, and Rubenstein's inks are particularly sharp. It's true. I mean, and as everybody knows, Hannigan was like the successor to Romita Sr. as far as like being a cover layout designer. Yeah, and he would do a lot of the mock-ups and hand them over to the other artists, because he was somebody that the editors really trusted. So you know, Hannigan was a pretty good designer, and I mean, it really shows here. But you know, that's one of the legacy items that will always be attributed with Hannigan. So gotta love the Kingpin on there too. Yeah, I agree with you on that one, Nick. All right, next one here. This is in Matthew Bulmer's CAF gallery. He's got 3 feedback, everybody. See that right there? Now, what do we got here? This is Megalith. Oh, the Bad Idea Kickstarter thing. Isn't that going on still right now?
I think it is, yeah. this, from where Louis LaRosa came to where he's kind of ended up, what do you even say about this guy? I mean, no one is doing this really right now at the same level that he's doing it. These, the Copics, the tonal stuff, like, the level of execution that's on display here in the interior pages. Like, if you follow him on Instagram, I mean, good Lord, everything that he touched on this book is like just an absolute masterpiece that I can see. I think he's pretty slow, but I mean, you see why, right? Like, look what he's doing here. Like the anatomy, the design, like there really aren't enough superlatives to kind of lay on top of this thing in my mind.
Yeah, no, this is pretty slick. And I know Dinesh's company has been pushing this a lot. I ran some PR for him last week, but no, the artwork is fantastic. It really is. I mean, I'm kind of surprised that they already have it out there and sold. I would have figured that maybe they would have sat around a little bit longer, but great piece of art. And okay, I already put my like on it. But Matt Bulmer, congrats on this one. You definitely scored a great cover. Yeah, this is nice.
He's also got, like if you follow, I follow a ton of artists on Instagram, and like everyone, he posts a new piece, and then like you see 15 artists that are like, look what Louis LaRosa did, which has got to be really cool.
Yeah, definitely. Let me go off of here, but I'm getting Marcus yelled at me. He said Marie Severin did cover layouts. She did a ton. All right, I'm sorry I didn't mention Marie too. Romita Senior did a fair amount himself when he was the editor, right? Wasn't it Severin and Romita Senior and
I feel like Romita did more redrawing and nitpicking maybe than he did designing. But
all right, I'll take that. But yes, you're absolutely right. I should have said Severin for sure, because Severin taught everybody. I mean, she was the queen of the bullpen. So there are definitely. What's that?
Rightfully so.
Yeah, but that's very true. There are a lot more cover prelims from Severin and from Hannigan out there, I think, on the market than you'll find from anybody else. Gil Kane too. Okay, all right, keep them coming, Marcus. Keep them coming. All right, next up, let's see.
Marcus wants to do a different kind of official handbook of the Marvel Universe.
Yes, he does. All right, now this is in Kareem El Rafe's calf gallery. Michael Golden, obviously. I mean, this is it's a beauty. And I think, there's a lot of people who love this era of Michael Golden's work, and this is a great one.
I just have always really appreciated how graphic Michael Golden's stuff is. There are a lot of artists that like kind of cribbed from him for lack of a better word, or paid tribute to him, I guess is a nicer way to say it. But he was kind of like charting his own course really at the beginning, I think. I mean, he certainly had influences too, but like he was at the time, this was obviously later than when he kind of first burst onto the scene, but he just never, took a step back really. Like he's instantly recognizable as Golden. And I love the hell out of his style.
Oh yeah, no, I do too. I mean, I love Golden's work. He was one of those artists. The first time you saw it, it was unquestionable that you loved his work. At least I'd like to think most of us probably felt that way. I always say, like Frank Miller took a long time. Kirby always, of course, took a long time. Even Sienkiewicz, I had a little bit of a hard time. But Golden, the moment you saw his artwork, you just loved it. It was just so unique, and there was something special about it from the first time you laid eyes on it. And I don't have the same affinity for the current work, but back in this era, even this period, which is kind of like you said, after he established himself, still really solid. I mean, the design work on this, should zoom out of this one because it's such a good scan. I just feel like that it's laid out really well. I bet you in color it probably look great too. So no, it's a good one. It's a really good one.
And I guess it's maybe a weird thing to say given the the context, but it's really comic booky. And then like not everything like that last Louis LaRosa piece, that's not strictly comic booky. Like this is very much like this is a comic book art.
Very true. There's no color version here. That's okay. We don't need to see that. I like it as is. Jason says he likes the older Golden art. Well, I
Yeah.
mean, that's when we get turned on by him, right? Is the earlier Marvel work, of course, but no, I mean, this is great too. I'm sure that's what Kareem feels as well. So it's funny. I have a lot of Batman in my in my picks too. We're gonna be Batmaned out for this. We won't have to pick any Batman art next week. So
I mean, artists love drawing Batman, and
They
Batman's
do.
big. So
right, and so here you got a great combination: Garcia Lopez and Kevin Nolan.
that's why. So I picked it because of the combination, not because of Batman or Alfred or
Mhm.
whatever. But like, I think these two are so incredible together. If you see people critique Nolan, it's that Nolan makes everyone look like Nolan. I feel like the hand when he inks Garcia Lopez is a little bit different. I feel like Garcia Lopez still shines through. I mean, there are like the ears on Batman in the bottom panel, and then like if you look at Bruce's profile in that, I think third or fourth panel, there's Nolan here, right? But not in a bad way. And
Right.
I just think that what I like to think is that like that's a level of like respect that Kevin Nolan has for Garcia Lopez.
I'll be able to ask him about that in a few weeks.
Please do. I'll be there.
All right.
I'll be
I
like
will definitely-
fanboying out in the chat.
I'm gonna be. I don't get nervous about too many interviews, but I'm a little nervous with doing him. But yeah, no, this is a great page. I saw this one too. I probably would have picked it as well. I love the 4-panel layout at the top, and then the larger panel at the. It's a really smart page, and I love the combination of Garcia Lopez and Nolan on this. And yeah, I mean, and it does have a car. I thought his car looked kind of funky, but
It's a weird car. It's a weird Batmobile for sure.
yeah, but I'll take it. I'll take it. He's drinking coffee, Rick Welch. Yes, he is.
Yeah, Rich Danny's is right. The Batman running down the stairs, totally. Yeah, that's absolutely Nolan Batman right there.
All right. No, I thought the same thing. It's either that or it's a Magnolia Batman. He's too skinny. How did that happen? He went from being buff and everything to, like emaciated in one, but whatever. It doesn't matter. I'm not talking badly about the art. I love this art. This is, it's a great, great piece. So, Mark Morales' piece. Okay. I forgot to check before we went to see whose it was, but congrats to Mark on that one.
It's like an inker honoring a penciler.
Yeah. Yeah. Mark's been on the site for a long time too. 17 years. All right. Love that. What kind of sandwich is Batman? I have no idea.
That's another thing you can ask Kevin Nolan.
I'll make a note of that.
I'll bet artists love that kind of question.
All right. Now this was an interesting pick, and and it was funny. I didn't, I looked at the piece and I did not think Alex Ross, of course, but it's an Alex Ross.
Yeah, and I just like this style is so mind-boggling to me. Like I can't wrap my head around painting monochromatically but tonally and then in so many different colors. It's got pop art feel to it, obviously that's kind of what he was going for, but it's still, I mean, to me it still reads as Alex Ross, like because of the the level of detail that's on the figures and the rendering and all that kind of stuff. Like Cap still looks like Alex Ross Cap to me.
Yeah.
But like this is this was kind of a gamble from a style perspective. And I for one think it looks really cool. And like I say, kind of trying to put myself in the position of, how did he do this? Like, how do you execute this is just made it really interesting to me. Like I poured over this for a few minutes.
Yeah, no, it is a very interesting piece. And I was going to mention Stranko too, and Nick Ferrucci beat me to it in the chat. But just as far as like trying to get that 60s early 70s vibe going on in this thing, I think he did that really rather well. But yeah, it's a unique piece. I mean, it's not what we would normally love Alex Ross for, but again, when you get down to the nitty gritty and the details, I think it's pretty slick. It really is.
It's so well designed too. I mean, like the individual, like the shapes, like the individual elements. Like I'm guessing that's Black Widow with the bow staff. Not 100% sure.
Yeah,
but
I'm not sure.
The fact that her staff and like Cap are kind of like forming that triangle in the middle. It's very cool. Like she like breaks that plane with Cap's shield.
TV guide cover worthy, says
Mannix.
Oh, and Chris, you beat Marcus to the first comment on that one, even ahead of McConnell.
Okay.
Well, even ahead of Duke Fleet. Wow. That's well, those are 10 really good picks, Chris.
Thank you. Sorry about the airbrush comment, boys. Easy.
Yep. Hashtag airbrush. That is a new one for us this week.
I'm still not convinced it's not airbrushed in pieces. I think there's airbrush on there.
Chris is not going to let this one go, guys.
I know what I'm talking about. I've got it. There's an airbrush sitting right there.
Emma Peel. Could be a little Emma Peel there.
Yeah. Oh, Avengers for sure. I didn't even think about that.
All right. So over to my 10 picks. So we don't talk about Pratt, Hugo Pratt too often. So I was like, Jeff Singh posted this. Jeff, he's always it's always a winner. And whatever Jeff picks up. I wonder if he picked this up at Como. Did he? Oh, he always does write a lot. I'm not going to read this one. I don't see the word Como jumping out at me. But Corto Maltese page. I don't know. I just I've always loved Pratt's ink work. It's just fun. I mean, like this kind of stuff is just like exactly what you want to see when you're seeing a good Pratt piece. You talk about minimal. I mean, the line work on these. It's I guess it's the European way or something. I don't know, but
he's so influential over there and over here. I mean, but Parlov, I'm certain would tell you that he's an influence.
Well, yeah, that's very true. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. But yeah, I love this piece, and we don't see a lot of Pratt artwork on CAF. I don't think. I mean, I bet if we did a search, I bet there's less than 200 pieces on CAF. So it's just cool when you see it. And Singh's gallery is one of the ones I follow on CAF. So because I just always want to see what he's posting. So when I saw this, I'm like, all right, that's why I made it my first one. I picked it early, just feeling like this is an opportunity to show off some Hugo Pratt.
I follow his gallery because I feel like I'm going to learn something.
That is true too. You never know what you're going to find in Jeff's CAF gallery. He had some stuff. I had the moderators were up in arms like a couple weeks back, and I was like, well, they were right. Yeah, I got to lock that one down because it was a little suggestive. But again, Jeff really, Rich Danny's has been to his house multiple times. He knows what Jeff's collection is like. It's just phenomenal. So again, great pickup for Jeff. I'm happy for him.
It's very cool.
So no Batman yet. Nope, no Batman yet. I picked this Tony Daniel one just because I've always, Tony Daniel, I'm always like hit or miss with him, but I just like the composition of this piece. I mean, I know it's like really simple and everything, but I just liked it when I saw it. I was like, it's really well done. It could have been done by anybody. It doesn't have to have been Tony Daniel. I just liked the overall layout of this one. I mean, it could be, I don't know. It is what it is. I'm looking at it now and I'm questioning why I picked it, but I still love it. I
liked it a lot. And this is going to sound like a backhanded compliment in a way, but this doesn't look like Tony Daniel to me, which is what I liked about it.
Okay, because I'm looking at it now and I feel like I'm seeing some J. Scott Campbell stuff in it. I'm seeing some different stuff going on here that doesn't. You're right. That does not scream Tony Daniel at all. But the composition for me, I love the way the way the two their bodies in her. That his knees are up near her chest. Her knees are at his feet. Just in general, two figures coming in together, and it is supposed to be it's an embrace. I mean, it's just really well done. I mean, that's the thing that got me was the way the figures were together in here. I mean, it conveys, I think, exactly the mood that they were going for with it. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, and normally, I guess what I feel like where Tony Daniel falls apart for me stylistically is the scratchy inking. Like there's just too much of it, and I feel like obviously he's a big Batman artist, and so Batman, you kind of get to go wild with that kind of stuff. It's here. Like in Spidey's, like the blacks on his bodysuit and in that building that he's stuck up against, that's like Tony Daniel to me. But there's so much other cleaner, more tightly rendered stuff on this cover that I don't know, it's just a different take on Tony Daniel in my mind.
All right. Well, I like it too. I'm not questioning myself any longer. I mean, I like it. I'm glad you liked it too. So this was in Duke Fleet's CAF gallery. Now, Duke had an interesting problem this week. He sent it to me, and I'm like, dude, it doesn't look like that to me. But where was it? If we go over to Duke, so we'll just show it to him because maybe Duke is watching. He can see. Duke sent me a screenshot of this, so I know he wasn't lying. But on his homepage, like if this is the font size and the how we divide the gallery rooms in half, right? If there's 20 gallery rooms, we run a query. It just says divide it in half, put 10 in one column and 10 in the other. Well, so this column was all the font sizes were right. The fonts in the second column were like twice as big. And he sent me a screenshot. And I'm like, well, I have never seen that before. So I started thinking, did he write? Maybe he wrote some code, that was in there. But then I went on 2 different computers, 4 different browsers on each one of them, and none of them had it. So I went back and I looked at it. I'm like, but it's there. It's in a screenshot.
Yeah.
And I just told him, I'm like, man, go just clear your cache or something. I don't know what, because I thought it was going to be an easy answer, like something in this small press, like he put some HTML in there, But no. So if anybody else has ever seen anything like that, please let me know, because I went back to him and I was just like, dude, I have no idea what how that could ever happen.
I feel like every time I talk to a web dev at work, that's the first 2 things: try a different browser, clear your cookies.
That's what I told him, and he didn't get back to me, so I don't know if it worked or not. But I always felt bad. But I'll have a good one. I actually have a couple. I'm making a note because I wanted to talk about this a little bit earlier, but I've got a couple of weird. I'm just putting weird in a box so I remember to talk about it when you and I are done. All right, so Chris K on this Jim Aparo. Look at this, an Aquaman page. We avoid Aquaman around here, but when I look at this apparel piece, man, I love. There's so much to love about this. The composition is great. It's a title page, which is something I love anyway. But I love the lettering, the secret of the sinister abyss. It's etched on this rock. Even though Aquaman's in bondage, did somebody already say it already? Nope, nobody has. Okay, I said it first. But this is a gorgeous layout. There's nothing wrong with it. It's like flawless. This is beautiful. And it's Aquaman of all things.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I'm looking at it. The more I look at it, it's freaking great. So,
it's so cool. I love all the different stuff that he's doing with the textures in the water, the bubbles and the waves and the mirroring effect and all that kind of stuff. And he's, inking himself here, which makes it doubly cool in my mind. And you can't say enough good stuff about Aparo's anatomy. The guy can just draw figures, and Aquaman is really contorted in this. And he's got all the tendrils or, whatever that is, sea creature that's wound up around him. But yeah, Aparo is just what a draftsman.
Nope, I agree. This is to me, this is like a no-brainer pick because it's just so damn good.
I think it's amazing that you're really trying to shake something loose tonight with Cyclops and Aquaman both on the same show.
I am.
Yep.
But yeah, no, this is a winner right here. And again, Chris K, congrats. I'll get the like on that one. Then what do we got next? Okay, Rick Leonardi, and let's see. This is from Batgirl 45, another title splash from 2003. Just on this one. I wasn't sure if I could click on it, but anyways, yes. So I love the composition. I love the figure upside down. Excuse me. Just again, everything about this piece was just perfect as far as I'm concerned. I guess if it was a title page, I guess everything was done digitally as far as the lettering on it. I didn't realize that, but yeah, I love everything about it. I love the fact the cards kind of got a bend on it. Leonardi's just doing some really cool stuff here with the design of the page, and I don't know. It's this feels even like kind of like that Leonardi from Spider-Man 2099 kind of feel. Even
that's kind of what I was gonna say. These wedges of black that he's got in the cape.
Yeah.
And the figure also there's a lot of cool stuff going on with the shapes that he inked on the bodysuit. And then I was just gonna say the bricks.
Isn't that pure Leonardi? The way he would do shadows on a brick wall. It's just funny.
Wild composition too. Wow.
Yeah, no, it really is with her upside down like that. But it's when I saw this, I was like, damn, this is really It's a gorgeous piece, and again, the composition is just crazy. It's got her
Is
feet
there
breaking.
is there a color version?
There is. Wow, look at that. Let's see.
Okay.
Yeah.
It reads differently in color. I mean, it actually like makes a little more sense in color to me. Just because like the shifting stuff that's going on on the ground level of the composition, like the car in particular, like throws your eye off a little bit, but like, I mean, in an effective way, it just like in black and white, it reads, like I said, it just looks wild.
Yes, and we got a lot of vehicle art tonight. That's positive, very positive. But yeah, no, I love this piece, and it's gorgeous. And it was inked by Jesse Delperdang. Okay, but let me get this is my first of 2 Paul P picks, and I think the next one's going to be a Paul P pick too, right? Yep, this is the other Paul P. Ron Garney. Nick should be happy with this one. I love this one too. When I saw it, I was just like, I can't kind of not pick it when I liked it as much as I did. It's from JLA. You get a DPS with Batman and the Flash. You got some really fun comments, I think, on this one from Marcus. He said that Robin was out for a test drive, or maybe he only had his temps. I can't remember what it was, but it was a good comment. But this is just Garney. I mean, his figure work is great. I don't really it's too close. Big scan for this one. But yeah, I love it as a DPS. You got both characters, and this is it's just a great layout. I mean, it's great design by Garney.
Garney's so like gestural too. Like his figures look really the word is overused probably, but dynamic. And a lot of that I think is like how loose, like when he does his pencils are loose, especially if he's gonna hopefully ultimately ink himself. He's able to stay loose, and like what's going on particularly with Batman here is very like, it looks like it's moving, which I think is such a cool thing to be able to do as an artist.
Yeah, this is slick. And you're right, it is all Garney, which makes it even better. And there you go. Marcus said he had a learner's permit, right? That's what it was. He forgot to save Robin, who was getting his learner's permit. All right, a little breath of humor for Marcus on CAF. But yeah, it's a great piece, and so Paul always gets cool stuff. So congrats to him on this pickup and the Batgirl. So all right, so this one is in where are we at? This is in Jason's CAF gallery, Jason Husa. So I like this one as a graphic piece, awesome. Honestly. I mean, it's let me get my like on here. This is a Mike McCone, Andy Lanning, both, great combination. Lanning's a great inker. I just love that. I mean, I'm looking at it now and I like it probably more than I did when I first saw it. I love the panel layout on here it's just an interesting approach to it. And then you get the graphic spider, on here with the drawings set in it. I mean, it's just a smart page. And then who doesn't like it when they draw Spidey's black, his costume having it like fade into the buildings,
it's jet black.
Yeah, I've always loved that, and so you get that here. I mean, that's a challenging kind of composition, to do. It's kind of daring, but it's done so well. And I mean, just the shadows dominating some of these panels. I got to go back to the smaller image.
This drew a lot of J.H. Williams comparisons for obvious reasons. The graphic element, like the Spidey graphic, and then like the Raid panels. This looks very J.H. Williams, but Mike McCone, like this isn't something that I associate with. This isn't something that I would think of if I think of Mike McCone. So I think that's really cool. I mean, why not, shake it up? Why not like do something that's really graphic and like effective like this? I think it looks great.
Yes, he did. And Marcus says he webbed up the goblin's crotch. He did on that. I mean, how do you pick that stuff out? I didn't even see that, Marcus. You're so observant on these pages. But he
sees the goblin and he just zeroes in on the crotch.
Yes, exactly. This is the original crotch goblin right here, right? I don't even know. But congrats to Jason on this one. Yeah, it's a very, very cool page. And I think there was another one similar to this. Strangely enough.
I'm guessing same issue.
Yeah, I'd have to go back and look, but there was a couple pieces posted this week. So let's see here. Next, Neil Adams from Green Lantern 80. This is just.
Oh, I missed this.
It's again, it's the period of Neil Adams that you want. I mean, if you're a sucker, if you love his DC work, and I was gonna say a sucker for that's not the right word, but if you love this period of his stuff and you're a DC fan, you'd have to want to have one of these Green Lantern pages. And you got Green Lantern, Green Arrow on this,
Giordano,
and a Giordano exactly as well. I mean, it's just a great page. I mean, I'm looking at it now, and I love it. And I've never even read these books at all. Ooh. I mean, I know I hate to say it, but I've looked at a lot of the art, right? And then and since seeing it, I mean, these panels are just fantastic. So then we're getting to work together at this period. I mean, again, these are just tough pages to come by. There's so many fans of their work and this era of their work. So this is I love this page. When I saw it, I had to pick it.
Well, this stuff, I mean, is so influential, and I mean, it left such an indelible mark on so many readers and so many artists and so many. I mean, just across the industry, right? And what I think is like even cooler about this is Neil Adams is probably the only reason that somebody like me, even though these were long before I was alive, not long before I was alive, but before I was alive. Neil Adams is probably the only reason that I got into Green Lantern, Green Arrow, Batman to some extent, and you can't underestimate his impact.
Well, no, I agree, and there's a vehicle there. I think you're right. So there's that's a great page, absolutely great piece, and let me make sure I get the name right. Jean-Andre Machini from France. Okay, there we go. Yeah, it was definitely in France. I was assuming they were out of the country. And again, look at that, another 17-year member of CAF. Wow, that's fantastic. So Snork, you know he drew the X-Men.
Barely, JD.
He did make my top 5.
Which was mind blowing to me, given the people that worked on X-Men. But
I know. Call me goofy,
just
but
kidding.
I know it's all right.
Still Neil Adams. He could draw Cyclops and make him cool.
He did, and he did make Cyclops look pretty damn cool. He featured him on some covers, man, against the Sentinels. Those were very memorable. But hey, all right. Glenn Crane always has an interesting piece coming in seemingly every week. So here you get a Wally Wood war piece from 1951, and I just love the layout of the page. When I look at it, I feel like people of that at that point in time in their lives probably just saw so much black and white film footage from World War II, right? And I have no idea if, what Wally would, how old was Wally in 51 or during World War II. But you look at stuff like this and it's just like I'm watching a movie. Yeah, I'm watching a newsreel. Exactly. And but put into comic book form. And I think that's, it was still pretty popular at that point, to be, probably retelling stories from the war and different things that went on during that period. And so I don't know. I love this piece, and I really would like to see it in person because it's, I can't click on it. See, we can't even get a bigger version of it. It looks like it has some kind of Zipatone on it, but the ink wash on it is it's beautiful. It's just gorgeous. I mean, it's not something that we see a lot of from Wally Wood, I don't think. I mean, from this era and this type of work, and it's great. I don't know where does Glenn find this stuff? That's what I want to know.
He's connected for sure. I mean, how long he's been in the hobby, right? I think what I definitely took the same read from this as you did. Like it felt like narration almost, like it was narrating a film, a little film clip, and the storytelling backs that up too. Like it's not just the lettering and the pacing and the panels or whatever, but like how he chose the camera angles, how he chose what to show, what not to show. Like it has a very cinematic almost quality to it.
And Marcus, again, ever observant, and he's right. He says that it's duotone pasted on the page. I didn't, now I'm looking at it. Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, look at the cutout here. So they pasted duotone on there. I've never seen anything like that before where they've done it like that.
Rich pointed out too that it's most likely Korea.
Oh, here in the bottom panel,
Mhm.
or the whole thing. Oh yeah, the whole thing. Interesting.
Korean War, yeah.
Well, then shows you I should read more.
Well, similar equipment.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, they're using World War II leftovers.
Right. Well, anyway, to me it's wars, and it's with you it's an airbrush tonight. So wow.
Perfect.
All right. Well, that's I still love the piece. Well, I would. But I didn't put my like on it yet. There we go. Oh, wrong one. Let's do this one here. So everybody knows I like Linsner stuff, and I like him more when he does a finished piece, edge to edge, rather than the ones where he just does the the character
Floating figure. Yeah.
right, and then he does everything digitally. So when he has time, he does work like this, where he finishes it all off. And man, this. Let's see. So this is Red Sonja 6. I know this is some of his favorite work too. So when he actually did the backgrounds on it, he really wanted it to. It was a special piece to him too. So I just love. No one draws a figure quite like him. I mean, and no one's as handles color like him. I mean, he's just an amazing. I don't know. He's incredibly talented, right? I mean, it's just like when Palmiotti. When we were talking about it the other day, Palmiotti in the chat was like, "How does he do his colors?" I mean, when other artists look at your work and they're just dumbfounded at your approach. I mean, that's saying something. And Joe just has such a beautiful style. I mean, this is just stunning. It's absolutely stunning.
Yeah, the textures are gorgeous, like really, well done. And I think I always say this, but like the metal reads as metal, the cloth reads as cloth, the leather looks like leather. And part of that is like palette, but part of it is also like, how application.
Yeah. And no, it's not airbrush, Jason. I mean, he, I don't know if you watched the Linsner, the last sale we did, but he talks about using, alcohol kind of Copic markers. He does a little bit of colored pencil on them. But no airbrush, no nothing. He's amazing, isn't he? Yes. And I know you're ribbing us, Jason, but it's okay. Anyway.
It's also cool that like, he's able to like retain the what should I say, like the fantasy element of the character, like, even in the colors that he chooses.
Very true. Very true. Man, we're never going to live that airbrush stuff down. That's all right.
I'm fine with it. I swear to God, I feel like there's airbrush on that cover. You can find me a hero. We'll fight. That's fine.
Anyway, but so yeah, I love Joe's stuff, and we actually sold one of another cover like a couple weeks after the show. Somebody reached out and said, "Is this one still available?" So yeah, I mean, and it was one of the pieces where he finished it. It was edge to edge. It was probably the most expensive piece in the set. But yeah, I talked with Joe about that offline, and he was like, I asked him why did you do that one like that, and he's like, I really, it was it was like a favorite period of my work, and there were just a couple pieces that I really liked, and I did that on. So this is one of them.
Cool when like they get swept up in one,
Yep.
And like they just can't stop. Like I've seen like a lot of artists talk about that. Like I just kept noodling on it, and before I knew it, it was like, okay, if I don't stop, I'm gonna break it. You know what I mean? Like I'll go too far.
Right. Yeah. Very true. And Marcus, you're right. The Facebook one was posted. The Facebook band artwork was posted to CAF. So my last piece, again, Batman to end things off, by Ed Rizzo, Batman Flashpoint. Just who doesn't love Rizzo's work? And this just kind of has like all the stuff in it that you'd want, and it's a Batman, which is I don't know how much is out there on the market, but this is just nice. There's no airbrush on this one. Anybody asking?
That bottom panel's amazing.
Exactly. I mean, that's kind of where I was sold on it, just the way he handled this whole bottom area. And, effectively, this is like, he carries that black all up there and uses it to frame things out, the tree behind these few panels here. I mean, it's a gorgeous, gorgeous page. I love, wasn't there something we were looking at? Was it last week where the Perez cover, the Perez FF cover, how he would handle
reversed out
right. The
Yep.
the lines and the woodwork in the building. So he's doing the same thing here with the trees. So, where it's dark, well, it's in the light, so that just slick, really, really well done. I mean, just when I saw this one, I was kind of blown away. I mean, I love Rizzo's work, but it's stuff like this that just makes me happy to be an art collector and regret the fact that I don't own anything by Rizzo. And I will tell everybody, I reached out to Rizzo. He's one of our early people. He is not available the weekend of OAX. So unfortunately, Rizzo will not be making it, but I tried. So look for that.
He was one of the first artists that I traveled to a con only because he was going to be there, only to find out that he wasn't doing any work. He wasn't drawing at the convention.
Dang it.
Yeah. So.
Well, but just that's the kind of caliber that we're going after early. And so yeah, I emailed Nicholas, and it turned out Nick, his the guy who sells his art on CAF, Nicholas, he's having a baby, like right in that same
is that his son?
I believe son, yes. So he's having a child in the 2-week window that the OAX is as well. And Ed is traveling. I mean, yeah, so it's the double whammy. There was no way that we were going to get Rizzo to our show.
Too bad.
So I just was like, hey, next time, I'm pretty sure it's son, Tim. Pretty sure son. So
this is a really pivotal page in this book too. Yeah, I'm a big fan of this story.
Well, this is a doozy, and this was in Boris B's CAF gallery from Croatia, and I 11-year member of CAF. So,
all right.
And I don't even know if I've ever been in Boris B's CAF gallery, but I should probably check it out. I mean, if this is the kind of artwork that he likes, and he even says one of the most memorable Batman pages by Rizzo, just like you thought, Chris. So there you go.
Yeah.
We love Batman. We do like Batman around here. And hey, next week it'll be all Cyclops. All right. Well, we saw enough Cyclops earlier today, didn't we? There was 9 of them on one page. We didn't need to pick a page with Cyclops on it.
Man, if you need more Cyclops than that, you need help.
That is so very true. All right. Well, Chris, as always, this was a lot of fun. Great picks all around.
Thanks, sir. Same to you.
Yeah. And what is it? So we're coming on, I guess. Well, next week you'll be on. I mean, I know it's the first Thursday of the month, but I haven't talked to anybody about having a stand-in. But I'll throw it out there on the 8th of June. If anybody is interested in stepping in for Chris, feel free to let me know. There's no pay involved, but and it's a lot of work. But if you'd like to sit in and do the
stop making it sound so great.
All the perks are fantastic, Chris. Let's see. So, but yeah, if anybody would like to do the June 8th date in 2 weeks, please let me know, and be happy to have somebody come in and give Chris the week off. And is that actually the week before? Yeah, that's the week before we would all be in Heroes. So
yes,
you're going to get the 15th off anyway, because I'll have the 15th off. So yeah, awesome. All right, Chris. Well, fun as always. I've got my weird thing to talk about while I end up the show tonight. So for those of you who are still hanging out, but have a great evening.
Okay, you too. See you guys. Thank you. Airbrush for life.